Hey, good evening, everybody. We've got a busy show for you tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee you that. It's going to be 3 hours at minimum, and hopefully at maximum too. I think we've got probably more segments tonight than we've probably had in a very long time. So before we even get started with stuff, I have to thank everybody. We did hit 5,000 subscribers on Monday night, thanks to James Siegel and team while I wasn't hosting a show. That was awesome. I haven't set up a giveaway tonight, but at some point during the show I will, and I'll have no idea what I'm going to give away, but I'll let you know when it's ready. And probably after the first hour of the show, and we'll figure out what to give away. Could be some T-shirts, some other merch off of the T Public store, or something. We'll figure it out. But thank you all for making the last 3.5 years so much fun, and being able to be the gateway to the hobby for many of you. So tonight we're going to get things started off with a couple friends of mine, Carl Choi and Sean Chen. Carl, as you know, he's had the new venture 24/7 Comics, and Sean is debuting a Kickstarter project very soon. So I wanted to bring them in, and I've got some original art images that I can show you. Not a lot, so let's few teasers and things, but it's something I'm looking forward to. I got to see a preview of some of the comics, and it looks very, very exciting. So here, let me bring in Sean and Carl. Get you guys in the seat of power. There we go. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you?
Thanks a lot for having me. Doing good.
Awesome. And Carl, as everybody notices, Carl is not at home. He is on. He's out sporting his 24/7 comic shirt, but he is not in his familiar digs. So before we get the Kickstarter side of things and the project, Carl, I know this has been something that I got my 24/7 shirt last July, right, at San Diego. So that was when I first heard about it. Can you tell us a little bit about 24/7 Comics, what the goals are and the mission of it, and who you're working with?
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned that as a new venture, but it's in 3 years in the making, and it's passed by so fast. And thank you so much for continuing supporting what we're doing. So 24/7 Comics came together because we're literally looking for partners in creating original IP. Initially, the thought was, kind of the same old talk of like film and TV. But then as I dug deeper, I realized there was a void, a third option outside of the big twos and the creator-owned comics, where often on one side you take no risk, but then you get no creative freedom. On the other side, you take all the risk, and that's also tough for some folks. And so we were able to create a partnership publishing model that allowed us to partner with our creators, and they actually participate in the life of the IP. And we do pay everyone up front. And so we take all the risk, but the creators work alongside us. And I think for me, I always look to like Robert Kirkman, what he did in all the different IPs he's worked on. He's come along for the ride. His name is on everything. And I think that should be the same for Sean, should be the same for Justin Jordan, should be the same for Brian Piccioletto, who recently joined us, as well as Moy R. A couple other creators that came on board since we last spoke. Crease, I don't know if you guys know his art, but he's been around. Jarrell Threat, who's a Magic the Gathering artist. He's painting every single page on an 18x24 panel. So you're literally going to see, it's going to be comic art at a whole different level. So I'm super excited. We have 10 original titles now, 26 full issues completed. And we thought it was time to go to market with something. So here we are, Mr. Sean Chen, who's been a longtime friend, even mentor in the space, and a great partner in crime. And so we're getting ready for this Kickstarter. We're very thankful for all the support thus far. Shout out to Mankini crew, and everyone following the Kickstarter had gotten us a call from Kickstarter today, actually, because they saw the momentum and we appeared on their list. So apparently they're gonna, show us some support in the upcoming weeks. So super excited. I'll keep it nice and short because I want you guys to hear from Sean. It's been quite a journey from him, and you've seen some of the art already. I think is his best work ever. So I'll leave it at that.
So, that's fantastic. All of those artists are phenomenal, but it's great to kind of have this project here with you, Sean. And I did share in the newsletter that I sent out earlier today that Kickstarter, pre-PR page where you can kind of set it up and save it so you can get announcements from the show. I don't have it in the description yet, but I will paste it into the chat so everybody can have access to it. I would encourage everybody to go out there and schedule this into your announcement list from Kickstarter. Here, I'll just put it in there right now for everybody. So Sean, tell me about the project Evermind and how that kind of came about. I mean, it seems like a rather large scale project for you to be tackling amongst other projects you have going on as well. So how did it get started?
Okay, well, it started actually a long time ago. I did a drawing just in my spare time, just something to put in a sketchbook that we're selling at San Diego. It was like 20 years ago. And it was an image of a robot girl and a robot gorilla, just for fun. And I try to infuse the drawing with a lot of like, it looks like it's a story. And so we took it to San Diego and sold the sketchbook. And then there was this guy who came around. He was like wearing a suit, looking through the stuff. And then he saw that picture and he asked me if there's a comic, like, are these characters I created? If there's a comic and if there's more. And I just said, no, I just drew it for the sketchbook. And then, he kind of like wanted to know, like, you have to have something, like, what is it about? And I was like, it's just a sketch. So then he walked away, and the person next to me at the table said, like, that's a Hollywood type. And he's looking for IP that Marvel and DC doesn't own. So it looked interesting to him. So I put it in my Instagram, like 20 years later, just to show people. And then I told that story to Carl, and Carl said, well, this looks interesting. We should do something with it. And I think at that point, it was all like very hypothetical. It's like, if you did have a do-over, what would you say to that guy if you were just kind of telling him what it was about? So, I came up with this idea, and it just seemed like an exercise, just for fun. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't really realize, that Carl was kind of like leading me along, because I think I'm not the type of person, I tend to stay in my lane. I'm an artist. I've always been an artist, and didn't really know whether I had the chops to write, but Carl kind of just led me all along the way. And then eventually it got to the point, it was like, it's time to put pencil to paper and get this thing going. And I'm like, get it going. So then it was on, and started working out the story. Initially it wasn't that appealing to me, because it seemed like a lot of work. It's science fiction, a lot of robots, a lot of set pieces. And I just was kind of dreading starting. But I think what was missing is that we didn't come up with the exact character story yet. So it would be like very exciting to see all the robot battles and all the flashy stuff. But what really did it for me is when we came up with the character story. And then from that point on, I could draw this forever. I mean, we created a whole, the timeline and the whole lore and all the characters. And once you put them in play, it's a very exciting project. So it's very eager for everyone to see it. It's been, I had to leave Marvel to do this, and I had a Star Wars book lined up, and I said, I have to go and do this because Carl's giving me a chance to write, and then I would actually have ownership in this IP. So I got to give that a try, and we'll see how it goes. I guess we'll find out next week.
So does it? What day does it actually debut? Do we know for sure what the launch date's going to be?
The 19th.
The 19th.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Can we look at some of the art? Do you mind if I show some of the? I think you guys sent me 6 preview images that we can look at here. 3 covers and 3 interiors, I believe. So, yeah. So the thing is, a lot of detail going into every page. When Carl mentions, Sean, that he feels this is your best work, I mean, I can see why. I mean, you're putting a lot of love into a piece like this, and the other covers and interiors that we're going to see are all kind of the same, just filled with a lot of just a lot of detail, wonderful compositions, and it's impressive to see something like this.
Well, that kind of happens when when you do your work for hire on stories that someone else wrote and characters that are owned by the company. I always try to do my best, but I think I feel like around page 10 or so, I start to run out of steam. And then it becomes, the work is trying to hide the fact that, it's just become a job. But, this is my baby. So you naturally will level up. You can take longer to draw it. So some of those pages take 3 days to do. And I think it is a level up. I think people know what to expect from my artwork if they were to get this book, but even that is not entirely true, because it is a level up from that. And then with the writing, it's something that I've had a passion to do for about a decade now. So finally combining them two together, and I think you'll be able to see like the passion and just the love for the medium just kind of it's a lot of fun. And then when you read it, it'll be, the enthusiasm is palpable in it.
So how are you, adjusting to the writing? I mean, does it feel more comfortable now than when you first started kind of fleshing out the character backstories and those sorts of things?
Well, I would never really dive right into a project as a writer, but I think what I did was kind of smart is that, I'm on Instagram and I would put out I was working in advertising and I put out a free comic, just maybe posting 5 panels a week. And I would just put it out and kind of make up the story as I go along. And then if the people in the comments wanted to see or hear more, I would do more. And if they lost interest, I would just drop it. But surprisingly, they were interested all the way through. And there was like 60 pages of a story. And then in the end, it seemed to go over so well that it actually got collected and put in heavy metal. And also Carl published another version of it. And that was called Wingman. And that was like an easy way to kind of test the waters and just to build up confidence. So you don't like start out with a paid job that's scheduled. So soon after that, this became my second project. And I wish I could say it's a lot easier, but this is a whole different story. This is science fiction. And the stakes are higher. There's more characters. There's more sets. So it does require me to level up in writing as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure people will be into it because it's full of action. And then there's also like a great character story in there too.
So when you're coming up with, the storyline and the places for these characters to interact, like, whatever this chamber is, I mean, do you do a lot of preliminary work to kind of know what the spaces are going to look like before you go into these finished pieces, as far as rendering, that's like the cityscape that was in the first image that we saw from the first cover. I imagine you have to do a lot of that before you actually dive into doing the finished pieces like this.
Yeah. So what you saw with the cityscape, that's actually like a Disney world, we have a fictional Disney world of the future, which instead of being in like a plaza, it's the size of a city. So it's got its own zip code. And then, so what you're seeing now is it's what's called Underworld. I think most people know that Disney kind of really caters to children and primarily girls because of the whole princess aspect. And so I guess when Disney started to get really, really greedy, the futuristic Disney, they're built on top of this underground cavern, and they turn that into the adult entertainment theme park. And you see there's a robot there, a gorilla, and then there's a sexy girl. And those are actually, by day, they work on the amusement park up above, as the gorilla is sort of like the Mickey Mouse character. And then all the females play different princesses. And then they have a little costume changing work. And then they go down below and they work in this kind of Vegas strip club. And then the big gorillas have these big like mech battle things. So that it's all just like a big man cave. So that's kind of like part of the world of the story. So I kind of let the story determine what each location looks like.
I mean, it sounds like the perfect vacation spot. I mean, I love going to Disney and I love going to Vegas. So if there was a place like this where I could, have my family-oriented fun during the day and my adult-oriented fun in the evening, this sounds like the perfect place to be. The happiest place on earth, as they say.
Well, it is actually based on a little bit of fact. I mean, I think people remember there was this place called Pleasure Island, which is on Disney. Yeah. And Pleasure Island was a reaction to this place called the Church Street Station, which is a competitor opened something up outside of Disney World to take the parents away from the theme park. And I think, who was it? Whoever was in charge at the time, I forgot, was Iger or something like that, got so angry that he opened up Pleasure Island as a response to that. And there was like a kind of like an adult entertainment battle going on between Disney and this competitor.
Interesting. Well,
really funny story too. I'll chime in for a second. Sean and I in the 24/7 team went on a retreat in Palm Springs in the midst of this whole creative process. And we remember that we were just, dreaming of this new world where people literally live in this like city-sized Disney. And then as we were taking Uber to watch a movie before I dropped off Sean to the airport, the taxi driver started telling us stories about Palm Springs. and we drove by this really huge lot that was like starting to construct, and and he was like, "Do you know what this is?" And we're like, "No, what is it?" And he's like, "This is the future city of that Disney's building, and you can actually buy plots in this theme park." And we're like, "What the heck?" And so it's really cool to see how some of our imagination could actually come true. But yeah, feel free to go back to the cover number 3, because I think Sean should talk a little bit about Daniel Wu and his involvement as well.
Oh yeah, so in there, that's Daniel Wu, who's co-creator of this project. So I originally asked Carl, like, what do you think the main character should look like? And he said, well, use this guy, Daniel Wu, who's the actor that was in Into the Badlands from back maybe half a decade ago. So I started drawing him as the main character. And then at some point, Carl was like, I'm going to take this to him and see what if he wanted to come on board. So luckily he said yes. And what's great about working with an actor is, like, I think actors inherently understand character. Like, they're always looking for motives and backstory on characters. It kind of creates like a more nuanced performance for them. So he's been great in kind of chiming in on the character side of the stuff. And we're really glad to have him on board. So he's really a big help.
So if this ever gets optioned into a film, Daniel's got a place, primary role potentially, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's funny when in the way it came up too, I was just hanging out with Daniel, and we were just talking about his career. He's in a place where we're all getting older. He's been an action star his whole life. He was discovered by Jackie Chan, and he didn't want to end up like Jackie, where Jackie could barely stand up without help anymore, right? And so we were talking about what roles will he play in the next 5 to 10 years, and this was perfect because he was such a huge star in Asia, and he actually left Asia to be with his aging father and to take care of him, and also to raise his daughter here in the States. And so we thought that was such great sacrifice to, for someone who had everything, who has everything, at the height of his career over there, to come here and even take a chance at Hollywood. And, although he made his impact in Hollywood, I think at this point, I think now it's beyond just these action roles. I think he really wants to play roles that are authentic and resonate with his own life, which in this story is very much a father and daughter story that Shauna crafted, which has been amazing.
Very nice. Hey, Adam Gomez had a question for you, Sean. Do you shoot a lot of photo reference or only when you need to, or at all, I guess would be good.
I rarely ever shoot photo reference. Like, there's so much, if you do like a Google image search, there's pictures of everything out there. And rarely when you find a photo, you can use it exactly as is. A lot of people don't realize, like, the lighting can be different, even though the pose is what you need, or the building's in the right angle, it could have the whole wrong lighting source. So I think a good understanding of form and structure and light and shadow is needed. And then you can always have to do a little bit of a hybrid between using photo reference and then just having drawing chops to be able to incorporate it in your drawing so that it blends in seamlessly. But yeah, you can kind of tell in my stuff, it's thoroughly researched, and I do use a lot of like actors' faces just because they have a lot of photo reference from different angles, and also to keep the look consistent throughout the whole book. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is quite a bit of photo reference, but then also it's met with quite a lot of bit of drawing too. I mean, drawing over and interpreting photographs.
So how many books are complete so far in this story? Just out of curiosity.
This will have 6 issues altogether. Okay. And we're just about getting to the finish line with it. And you can see it's a chore to draw. I mean, there's a lot of robots, a lot of characters. There's a lot of different sets that we're in. We're in a theme park. We're in the underground part of the theme park, and we're in the battlefield. So this book, also you'll notice that there's quite a few panels per page. So the story has to kind of move forward within the space of 6 books. So pages tend to be really dense with stuff, and the story is, I think most people, when they have a problem with pacing in a story, it's that the pacing's too slow. So this one, the pacing is very fast. So it's very concentrated within 6 issues. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. So.
No, I love this page too. I mean, again, just the great lighting, great. When you see the images, it just makes you want to know what the story's about. I think that's these are good teaser images to show along with those covers.
Cool, yeah, and they get better with color.
Who are you working with as far as the colorist goes?
So this is a longtime collaborator of mine. His name is Tom Chu. He did a lot for Marvel and DC. So, since we work so well together, and for this, I kind of asked him to do kind of like a little bit of a flatter coloring style, because there tends to be so much on there. So the color really has to tell the story and separate the different objects, and then try to keep the rendering to a minimum, because I do a lot of the rendering in the black and white.
Now, when the Kickstarter gets started, will there be original art awards as part of the Kickstarter?
I think so. Maybe Carl can answer that. I'm pretty sure there is.
There is. So we're really lucky. I think when we first started this project, we knew at some point we were going to do something. We just didn't know if it was going to be Kickstarter or something else. And so we worked out some deals with Sean's old art rep, as well as some of the other folks that had his art. And we actually acquired all the artwork. So we're about 150 pieces of Sean's art from the published days, from Wolverine, from Avengers, from X-Men. He has so many runs. I didn't even know he did all these books. And we're gonna have a few tiers where, in fact, with Bill's blessing, we're calling it the CAF tier, the Comic Art Fan tier. And what that includes is basically all 6 books, as well as one of Sean's original art pieces. And we priced them very reasonably. We know that, obviously right now we're going through a bear market, but we want this art to go out there and get into the CAF galleries, because, I really feel like Sean's body of work, it's really beautiful. And really, as you look at it in person, there's something different about it. And so, yeah, I think we will have that. And we're also going to have a black and white artist edition book, and it'll be all 3 issues, all black and white, from the art here, because I think the technique as to how Sean approached the production of this book is a little different. And so we don't have a lot of 11 by 17 pages, but we will have the full-on black and white artist editions.
Awesome. Well, I could have highlighted that while you were answering it. So Dom Gomez, there you go. You now know. And Kazra wanted to know, for Kickstarter, will individual issues be offered as well as 6 collected issues?
So for the first Kickstarter, we're doing the first 3 issues. So it's kind of like the first arc of a 2-part trilogy in a way, 2-part story in a way, and leaves you on a really solid cliffhanger. And so we felt like, do we want to finish all 6 before we go to market, or do we just get the first 3 out first? And so we are going to be issuing the first 3 books, and then it'll be a very simple Kickstarter. We kept it around 9 tiers, and so the tiers is really just about the 3 standard ones, or the 3 artist edition, or all 6, or the 6 signed. And then we have the original art, and then we also have a tier that is super fun, because Sean, you could talk more about what you did with Marvel during the time off of comics. He was working at Marvel with their franchise department, doing a lot of these reference characters, and we got a hold of a lot of those as well. So there's a tier that includes Marvel character designs. So it's gonna be a fun one. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be, well, I can't wait to see it. At the end of the day, what I've seen already looks really, really wonderful. So let me see here. Yeah, I wanted to go back. I love that first image, though. I mean, I think that that's really, I mean, I can only imagine how long ago you worked on this, Sean, but it's just a fantastic image. I mean, now that you've told me the story, now I get it. Looking at it originally, I didn't quite understand the split, but now it just makes so much more sense. It's wonderful.
Right, you can see like there's one half of the page is the above ground Disney, and then the other side is what's going on underground. And it, it's one of those split pages. So this is like, I guess, a double, what is it, a gatefold, or what kind of cover that is? But you fold it in half, and you can only see half at a time.
So when and obviously by you telling everybody that you named the original art tier, the CAF tier, I already knew the answer to the question I asked you, but how is that actually going to work, right? If you only have 9 tiers, is there just going to be an option to add on original pages, or how exactly will that work? I mean, I know there's many ways to do that through Kickstarter.
Yeah, we're doing it just randomly. So the way it works is, because it's gonna be so hard for like a first come first serve situation, we just decided to just do randomly. There's a variety of pages from the books, and we do have a day 1 special, which is basically all 6 books plus a page, and it's going to be about discount around 20%. And then we have about 50 of those, and then we have about 100 pages. That's going to be like the regular CAF tier, and so it'll be completely random, but obviously, let me know. If I know, you will see what we could do.
Well, I should go start cherry picking things now that I've got a little bit of a preview out there, but I won't do that. But that's cool though. I mean, again, it's wonderful to have people who are familiar with art collectors and their wants, running a Kickstarter. I mean, you go into it knowing, partially what your audience is. I mean, you're trying to appeal to, comic readers as well, but knowing at the same time, the fan base that Sean has. I mean, there's over 1,100 pieces of art from you, Sean, or by you, Sean, on Comic Art Fans. So there's a lot of people who collect your work on CAF, and yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's really enjoyable to see that. There's so many different projects out there where people aren't working traditionally any longer. I love it when the opportunity to see somebody still working traditionally and to have original art award tiers as part of the overall Kickstarter is phenomenal. So for Carl and Sean, I tell you got to get me something for me to push out on the day of the launch too, so I can help do a little PR for you there as well. I'd really like to do that for you guys.
Great.
Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate the time.
Yep, not a problem. And I know that Sean has another interview to go to, I believe, or at least another stream to head to. So again, I thank you both, and I'm here to help whenever I can. So you just hit me up, and I'll take care of you both.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Thank you, Captain.
Thanks a lot. And thanks for what you do for the original art community. I really
it's my pleasure, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I've always loved Sean's work. So as I know many of you do as well. I saw you guys are, what was going on in the chat? Everybody's trying to get me to wear a Bill Lash mask. Nope, that's not. I'm not. I had a feeling that that would come up from Marcus about his drawing that he had Sean Chen do with the Bill Lash stuff. Sorry, not gonna happen. But you're more than welcome, Carl. I see you in the chat still. So yeah, let me put the link out there one more time for those of you who may have came in late, didn't get the link. Where the heck is it? Oh, there it is. Let me paste it back into the chat for everybody. So you can head over to Kickstarter and add that to your saved Kickstarter project list. So that way they'll, when they do launch it, you'll get an announcement. And like you just figured out, I'll send out an announcement for them on the 19th when it goes live. So yes, we got lots and lots more things going on here. A few other guests. We got some OA Expo related guests coming up, and that one's going to be a lot of fun. It's a surprise. I didn't even announce it in the chat, but I have several videos to go through today. Now, one video that I got was from Peter Rowe, and he didn't give me a video. He sent me a bunch of photographs, but he actually had taken a trip to the Library of Congress. Now, I don't think specifically to see the Ditko Spider-Man artwork. Maybe he was just in DC, but he didn't tell me what the trip was for. But he didn't get into one of the private rooms where you can actually see all of of the artwork. But he did get to see one piece of Spider-Man art while he was there, which was pretty impressive. And while he was there, he did take photographs of a lot of the other artwork that he saw, which, if you're aware, I mean, the Library of Congress, they were kind of run the gamut of the artwork they have, but it probably more leans towards strip and editorial art, those sorts of things. So you're going to see a lot of that, but kind of wedged right in the middle, the one piece of importance. So let me go ahead and play this clip. And again, Peter gave me this material last week. I couldn't get to it, but I got to it this week for him. That ended faster than I thought. I guess I didn't run it all the way to the end. Well, before I post it out there for everybody else, I'll make sure that I fix that. But if you notice, I just put in the chat a giveaway. So anybody who is hanging out, hoping to win something, what I'll do is, I don't know, I'll give away 5 things. I'll check and see if I have any Dueling Dealers stuff here. But if I may have a few hats left over. But otherwise, we'll draw 5 random winners. Maybe I'll pick a set in between segments. Maybe before I do the schedule, we'll pick 5 winners, and you'll be able to pick something from the TeePublic store or from anything I can find here, which I don't know how many hats I have left. We definitely need to get more of those. So yeah, we'll get to it. But I see the subs coming in. Like 16 people have done it already. So awesome. Yeah, well, I only see one of my guests in the green room. I told them 9:40, 9:45, so we can give them some time. But no spoilers here tonight. But thank you, Peter Rowe, for going to the Library of Commerce and taking photographs for us. We appreciate that. And I saw somebody say, "Why the heck else would he go there?" I don't know. Do you think it actually said that there was a one piece of Ditko art hanging up there? I don't know. I said Congress. I got a long night ahead of me, guys. Sean said he hung out with Peter in Baltimore. He is a great guy. Absolutely. Peter made it out here to our February art get together too. So Peter gets around. He definitely does. And he did not pose for that photograph. I found that someplace on Facebook. So that was where I snagged that from. And like Kazra said, God bless Peter for bringing MODOK into the Library of Congress. Yeah, he did not actually bring that shirt. He wore that to a con, and I found that photo and just kind of snagged it. So yeah, that's right. Anyway, but let's see here. Where else can we go? I got another video. I have another video here while we're waiting. Because again, like I say, I've got a lot of different stuff to go through tonight. I had Rich Danny's. He attended a comic art meetup over at Jeff Singh's new house this past weekend, and there were several collectors in attendance. Even Ruben was there, and so Rich, as always, he shot some photos, he shot some video, he shot them all vertically, so we don't get nice panoramic shots through it, but he pulled it all together. So it's cool to see. Clearly, Jeff did not want to waste any time. He got his art hanging on the walls, and he also was willing to throw another get together at his place. I think, remember, he threw one, it seems like it was only 3 months ago when he did his last one when he was moving from his old home. So this is his first get together at the new place. And yeah, so here you get to check out how his new setup is, because again, I don't know, we know how long it took me to get artwork hanging on the walls here. You're going to be blown away by the amount of art Jeff has already hanging on the walls in his new home. So here we go. Man, I tell you, I could hang out at Jeff's house for a long time. I just can't imagine. I mean, it's almost like he's been living in that place for over a year, and we know that's not possible. So, so hey, I almost saw all three of our guests in there. One of them was there and then just dropped out. So we'll have to wait for them to come back before I can bring in these gentlemen, fine gentlemen they are. But yeah, Jeff, he's amazing, and I can tell you, I haven't tried talking to him to see if he'd want to come on the show, but Jeff is going to be setting up at OAX as well. Believe it or not, he is going to be setting up with a collector's table. I don't know if anybody's going to be working with him in the buddy system in that way, but he's really excited to be a part of the show. And we were just emailing this morning. And, because I asked him if it was okay to kind of list him on the site, because I've got, we had Wolvie Fan on last week as a collector who's going to be, having tables at the show, or at least one table, maybe more at the rate he's going. But so speaking of that, all right, all three of the, we're not going to call them amigos. They've got another name. They have another name, and with a name like theirs, they needed a special introduction, I have to tell you. But yeah, these gentlemen are going to be sharing a table at OAX, raising all kinds of cane, I can imagine. But here, let's see what this whole thing's about. Oh boy. Team Oreo. Wait, somehow we need to be able to get this into the Oreo position. I don't know how we do that. I'd have to get it.
You're gonna need it 3 in a row, man.
I've got here, hang on. I'll throw in an extra camera, and then that way we can get the Oreo effect so that everybody understands. because Jason is he's the cream filling at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I am the cream filling.
It just keeps getting grosser, man. It just keeps getting grosser and grosser.
So
I don't know what you're talking about, man. We're just like 3 red-blooded American males who love cookies. There's nothing else to it.
I don't know. Who came up with the name Team Oreo, by the way? Whose sense of humor was that? Nobody's.
I think we were just sitting around, dunking cookies, and just came.
We were on a group text, and we were like, you know what I love? Oreos and milk. That was it. There's no shenanigans behind it.
All right.
Never shenanigans with us, Bill.
But speaking of shenanigans, I think Bill has hit the nail right on the head. We are there to raise cane. We are there to be the table you wish wasn't there. Booze under the table, Team Oreo. Shady deals on the side, Team Oreo.
That's right.
Delicious, can't stop, Team Oreo.
Oh boy. Yeah, there you go. Now you got it. So you guys kind of reached out to Kazra and I first, as I recall. Yeah, look at, he's just mashing the double stuffing down. About setting up. So we appreciated that, because we didn't know if the idea of doing collector tables was even going to be a thing, right? I mean, we've been doing Comic Art Live as a virtual show on CAF forever, and collectors make up the majority of the sellers there. But in traditional settings, I think the only time I recall seeing collectors really setting up was like Jason, you and Fish over at Comic Art Con in Jersey, right? I mean, you guys have done it before there a few times, and it just seemed like our show wouldn't be a show if we didn't allow collectors to kind of have their own space.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I thought it was a very cool thing you guys are doing. I mean, you just said it. It's not a usual thing. No one's gonna say anything about Mega Cox, Bill, especially you.
I avoid it as I can, because I have no idea what's in store for the OAX when we get there. But
we call that T-shirt the T-shirt of lost opportunity. Look at that! Look how good that T-shirt would look. Look how amazing it would look on banners. It's just crazy. But getting back to the table thing, I for one, I mean, we talked about it. It's such an awesome opportunity. It doesn't happen at most cons that I'm aware of. And it just made all the sense in the world to hey, Ron Lim asked a question. He said, why is Jason the stuffing. He asked, is it because he's white? Yes, Ron. Do we have to spell it out? It's because he's white. I'm brown. Mikhail's brown. He's white. It's like an Oreo.
I thought it was because I was whiter than you two, to be honest, guys. That's
whiter. No, you're white on just the general
whiter
of color.
It does work in that way too, Jason.
No, but about the table, man, like Bill, like you said, I've set up at NJRCon a few times, and I will tell anyone who's thinking about it, you know, we're gonna have a good time because we're boys, right? He's not joking about the booze under the table. Like that's a real thing. But what I can tell you from setting up at a show before, not only do you kind of have a home base, but everybody walks up to your table with their folio. So you literally have people just coming to you that brought art, and you get to look at everything, right? Otherwise, if you're at the show, you're, you know, who do you know, who don't you know, what do you see, what don't you see? So it's really an added benefit that you wouldn't think of. You know, you think you're going to set up to sell. I've wound up buying stuff and getting stuff that, you know, collectors had in their folios, and it's a great opportunity.
Exactly. Well, and that's what I think the whole show is going to be like that, right? If you're going to have 400 or 500 art collectors in the room, X number of people up, you know, whether they're artists or dealers or reps behind tables and collectors, I mean, that's going to be an exciting show. I mean, you know, I'd rather be a guest than a showrunner myself, but you know, you guys are going to have a great time. I'm sure everybody's going to have a good time with it. I mean, I'm going to be jealous of the things that I get to see photographed afterwards, right? Just to see things that might have gotten traded or shown off at the show. And I have to tell you, Mikhail, I did not read your shirt until about 60 seconds ago. So that just shows you how little attention I pay when I'm doing these things. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You know, wear it proud.
And I think, you know, it's a great opportunity for us because Iranga, Jason, and I, we've all been collecting for about the same amount of time. And we're at that transitionary phase in our collecting where we have pieces that we're looking to get, and we have to, you know, raise money to get them. So we're going to be bringing pieces to, like, you know, that we're reluctantly letting go of, that hopefully can find a good home. And also, you know, just to show and share. So like Sean Gordon Murphy was on, he was talking about, you know, loving Jorge Zafino work. So I'm going to be bringing a nice Jorge Zafino page along with me, just, you know, bringing all the fun stuff.
Yeah. And you know, that's kind of what, you know, look at what we've done on the channel, all those things. Like you said, you got that from Sean Gordon Murphy. You know, we've had all of you on the shows before, and we've watched so many shows with other collectors that we know are going to be there. So you kind of know what's in their DNA, and it makes it a little bit more fun. Like, you can bring a piece of art knowing that you want to show it to this one guy. Probably other people are going to be interested in it too, but it just it's like an icebreaker. You know, when you're sitting down to talk with somebody, it's like, oh, and by the way, you might enjoy taking a look at this artwork too. So hey, I did see, what was it? Alberto wants to know where he can buy one of those shirts. Is that shirt part? Oh, and Goo asks, is that shirt?
Maybe we'll have them at the table. Who knows?
I can't believe ML didn't get Aranga and me one yet for this appearance. We could have all.
Maybe we're raising money to pay for our table. I don't know.
Well, I think it's great. I think we're going to have a lot of surprises at that show. I mean, we've got many planned, but if history, you know, holds true, I'm sure that many attendees will be bringing some fun things. You know, there's too much. I mean, Kazra and I have kicked around some of the dumbest ideas ever, and some of them are probably going to happen. They're going to end up being at the show, and it's going to be, you know, those who don't get to partake in the swag that gets dished out at this thing, they're going to be disappointed for ages to come, I think. But yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, again, you guys being supportive of it, you know, you've been on the channel practically since we started, whether it was in the chat or in the shows. So, you know, just again, having you guys be the first in line to want to, you know, support the show in that way is, it was flattering. And you know, and again, I think we only wanted to set aside 6 tables, and I think 4 are done. And, you know, we are talking with a couple other people as well. So they're definitely all going to go. And it's kind of crazy. Kazra and I sat down and we did you know, kind of an accounting of where we're at. We're pretty much sold out of booths too, which is a little crazy. So, but that's a
Bill,
good thing.
Did Kazra tell you he agreed to put a couch behind our table?
No,
and
he
a mini
didn't.
fridge. He said it comes
Yeah, the
with a
mini fridge. Yeah,
and a
it's in our
couch.
contract.
That's in the contract? Shoot,
Yeah.
well, I guess he didn't pass that one by me. So I guess he and I are going to have a talk about that. But that's a great
He's
idea, though.
Persian, man. He's Persian. You gotta watch out for him.
Son of a gun. That's right. I didn't even think about that.
But
Well,
honestly, Bill, it's a pleasure to support the show. And I think all three of us immediately felt like the vibe walking into the show floor, aside from the plushy carpeting, is that it's just going to feel like a friendly living room, and that we're going to know everyone there by reputation or by sight or by their collections on CAF. And, you know, I can't wait to meet the people that, you know, maybe we wouldn't normally see at a more crowded show with other distractions.
exactly. And you guys have heard me say, out of the ticket sales, I don't recognize half of the names so far, which is crazy. You know, I mean, that's shocking to me because, you know, I know a lot of people that haven't bought tickets that, you know, I know are going to be coming. But when I see 100 names that I don't even recognize, that's exciting, because that does mean that there's going to be a lot of people who maybe, you know, don't use CAF, that are, or are lurkers and use, you know, different names and just, you know, use the site to communicate. So I'm excited about that, because these are people that I don't think, you know, we've probably passed at shows before and never knew who the heck they were. And now we're going to get to meet some of these people. And hey, I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic. Jacob says, I haven't bought my ticket yet, but I plan to. That's what we want to hear. It's less than five months away.
Yeah. What are you waiting on, Jacob? Seriously. We've
Just
only been talking about this for months. But seriously, Bill, and I say this in the most complimentary way possible, is this feels more like a comfy collector meetup disguised as a con.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's fantastic. You know, we had some guest artists, whatever, but it just feels like a collector meetup in the best way possible.
Speaking of guest artists, Aranga, will you be taking a list before this show?
Bill, no. No.
It's only Xerxes' remarks at the show.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't sully Bill's convention.
Hey, well, you know, somebody did ask, and we were, Casper and I were kind of questioning that too. Do we list Aranga only in the collector, alley, or do we?
You absolutely should. You absolutely
no.
Should.
Well, Ken's going to be there. Bill Morrison's going to be there.
Let me tell you something. Bill. It's no shock that. Listen, forget about you. My rep hasn't invited me to. Okay, so that should tell you where I stand.
All right.
Well, all right, Aranga, you won't take a commission list, but will you do something for the auction, for Bill's auction?
Oh, 100%.
All right, there we go. At least, so there will be one piece of original Aranga art available for purchase. It'll be at the auction, everybody.
100%. I'll do something for the auction.
Or maybe Moonbat makes a return to Orlando.
Oh,
that's not a bad idea.
Maybe we auction off the original Moonbat piece.
Whoa, we're gonna have to talk about that offline.
See it? Hey, Peter Rose said he convinced the non-CAF collector to come. That's good. We appreciate that. What do we got here? I saw. Steve Lipsky wants to know if we're going to have booth babes. We are not. No booth babes. There'll be booth volunteers, but I can't guarantee that they will be babes.
Maybe Sairanga will be there. We never know.
There may be some cosplay going on, you guys.
There would be one person cosplaying in the hall then, but I can tell you that everybody would like to see that, even if it was only for a 1 hour guest appearance. We could literally set up signings. We could say 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Psylocke will make an appearance.
That's
get your photograph. Photographs cost $25. Signatures are $10. If they need to be CGC certified, it got to be at least another.
Signatures are free, Bill.
Oh, signatures are free. If you okay.
Yes. Well, but you know what? This says so much more about this community than it does me.
If I was Jason and Mikhail at your table, I'd be lobbying for you to dress as Psylocke, because that's just going to bring more collectors over to the booth. I mean, and they'll be looking at the art on the table and looking at you. But it's a chance for more sales, so that's the way I'd be looking at that.
Okay. Anthony's the equivalent of the diaper bomb.
Yeah, kind of, but better looking. Okay, wait a minute. Did I say that? Shit.
Yeah, 100%. It's too late. It's live. It's recorded.
All right. Good thing I'll be at the probably at the registration desk during that time period. But yeah, so this is it's going to be fun. That's all I have to say. You guys are going to make it an enjoyable. What's that?
Play as Anthony, Berkey, and you.
Jason's having a seizure.
Jason's breaking up a little bit.
The New Jersey Post Office is interfering with him again.
I think that's because he's streaming his football game on Amazon right now, and it's eating up his bandwidth.
The stuffing is better seen and not heard.
That's going to be the motto for the whole weekend.
Yeah, he has frozen, hasn't he? It's a good thing he has a pleasant look on his face and not one of contempt or disgust.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, no. Did you turn off Thursday Night Football? No. All right. Yes, I enjoy having Jason. Come on, man. The internet's not.
Dude, my internet's being wonky. I apologize. I've never had this. I've never Jamesed before. I've never not been able to perform. I apologize.
Ooh, it's because of the fan on top of you. It's like a Khalil's house.
The Khalil, yeah.
The Khalil.
I actually think it's because the game is on.
What kind of dial-up?
We think too.
What kind of dial-up BS internet do you have in New Jersey, man? I got the game on right here. Look at this, 720p. We good to go.
Don't kick a man while he's down.
He's a Jets fan. Yeah.
Is he a Jets fan? He's a Dolphins fan. He's a Dolphins fan.
Oh, that's right. He is the Dolphins fan. I forgot. I always forget about that. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, Marcus knows. He's got the Dolphins up there. Oh man, his lack of bandwidth adds.
Oh my God!
Wow, James.
James is ruthless. Boy, oh boy. James did buy his ticket, so he's going to be there too. So he'll probably be heckling you guys from the other side of the table.
There'll be something.
Yes, indeed. But so the thing is, once we get a little closer to the show, we can have you guys back on. We can tease and torment everybody with some like hints of what you guys might be bringing. That might be fun. So and it maybe maybe you'll all have Mega Cox t-shirts when that happens. Maybe. I want I think hoodies would be good.
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that might happen.
Yes, it was payback for the non-performing comments, since James. I hear you. But all right, hey gentlemen, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get the Team Oreo logo up on the site probably tomorrow, so it's properly representing you three. I wish I could kind of like put your mugshots beside it, but I won't do that. It'll be a surprise for those who don't know what and whom comprises Team Oreo. But nice.
James is calling me, I think, to apologize for the comment.
Yes, finally.
Oh man. Well, listen, again, I appreciate it. Like we saw, Wolvie Fan's going to be there. He's going to be around you guys. Jeff Singh's definitely going to be there. I won't tell you who the other collector is just yet. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. The Collectors Alley is just going to be mobbed, I think, with fans of yours all weekend long. So,
all right.
And hey, are any of you guys coming in early, or staying, a day or two later? I was wanted to ask that.
I know I booked my flights, but I don't remember now. I think I'm flying in the night before. Yeah.
So on Thursday
night. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I haven't booked my flight yet. The plan is to book it on Thursday. Kazra and I were working with the hotel because I couldn't get the extra days. So once that's finalized, I'm going to book the flights.
Well, all of that should be fixed now. I mean, I know that you might have been one of those people who did two different kind of bookings. Well, I mean, that we actually had a problem where we overbooked the allocated. Tell James to call you back later.
That one was Oranga.
I'm just gonna.
Yes, so we had a problem there, but it was a good problem because that meant we were, we were basically selling a lot of room nights. So that was a good thing, but it just took forever to get it resolved. So it is resolved now. So we have rooms booked, extra rooms even on Thursday and on Sunday for people who are staying later. So nobody should have any more problems with that. But the cool thing is we're going to have more than half of the hotel occupied for Friday and Saturday night, which is, yeah, that's
This hotel is about to learn a lesson.
yeah, we might have
You're gonna be looking. You're gonna be looking for a new venue next year. The year after.
Yes. I thought about that, because at the end of the day, we might end up needing one because I think we're going to probably utilize all the space that they have. So if things go well, we may have to look for a bigger place or just keep reining in our ambitions for a couple of years. But we'll see. We shall see. But gentlemen, again, appreciate it. Jason,
thank you, Bill.
Get back to your game. Best of luck to your Dolphins this year. Mikhail, I do hope that there is a Mega Cox t-shirt in my future. I'll gladly wear it on the channel. I can't promise I'll wear it during the show, especially if
chances are good, Bill.
Kyle, you haven't told us how many of those you ordered yet. We've only seen the demo, so I have no clue.
I'm still, tweaking and experimenting with a few options. So.
Hey, thank you, number one Marvel fan just ordered his VIP tickets. All right, thank you so much. So, all right, gentlemen, you guys enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we got to get you guys on a little bit more regularly. It feels like it's been, I don't even know when the last time we've really had you guys on, right? Yeah. I mean, Jason and Mikhail, has it been all the way back to your amateur dueling dealer match? I mean, that was at the beginning of 2023, I think.
Jason's on like every 3 weeks. He's like a commercial whore. Mikhail, it's been a minute.
All right, well, then we just need to get you on a little bit more, Ranga.
I think he's frozen again. Yeah. But hey, Bill, I'm sorry. Thanks, man. Thanks for having us on.
Not a problem. All right, guys. I'll see you in the chat.
Thanks, Bill.
Take it easy. All right. Yes, Team Oreo there for your viewing pleasure. But I should have wrapped it up by playing that little stinger, right? Add on a t-shirt, Team Oreo, but we'd probably get in. Well, they would probably get into some legal problems if they actually put that on a t-shirt. But hey, who we could get in trouble for the Mega Cox t-shirt one way or another. But as long as I don't print it, I don't think I can get in trouble. Only you guys can. So here, let me throw that banner back up here on how to enter into the giveaway. Since probably about a half hour from now, we'll do our drawing of the 5 winners there. So Jason's apologizing for his phone. It's okay, Jason. No problem, my friend. Yes, understood. Bill, yeah, I do. 58 watching, 48 likes. What's up with that? Come on, everybody. Hit that thumbs up. So here, I got to actually close out of this other browser on my Mac here because that's going to annoy me. There we go. That's much better. All right. And yeah, I do see the ticket order. Thank you, number one Marvel fan. We appreciate that. So hit exclamation point enter if you want to get entered into the chance for a giveaway. Probably something from TeePublic, potentially a Dueling Dealers hat if you want one. I think I might have 2 or 3 left, but we'll figure all that out. Jason was on FanDuel, says Marcus. That may very well have been. All right. See, I can scratch off Team Oreo off the to-do list for tonight. Now, I was talking with Colin by email. We were chatting as things go here, and I got he asked me if I would talk about, and I can't really talk about it, but I can at least highlight it for everybody if I could figure out where the heck that tab went. He has some friends who are running the Granite Con, and that is in where is it? That's in Manchester, New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let me go pull this tab up here. So that is this weekend, Granite State Comic Con. New Hampshire's Comic Book and Pop Culture Festival. It's in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's at a DoubleTree by Hilton, just like we are. What's up with that? DoubleTree is like the the tier 2, tier 3 hotel of choice for cons just trying to get started or make a name for themselves. But also, I think Granite State's been around for a while, so they are this weekend. So if you are in the Northeast, this is actually a pretty good show to go to. I checked out the guest list earlier. Sean Gordon Murphy is going to be there. Raphael Albuquerque going. I think, if you recall, when we had Sean on, he and Albuquerque are good friends. So it doesn't surprise me that they are both at this show. I don't remember the other artist guests, to be honest with you. But hey, just with those two alone, I've always wanted to meet Albuquerque. So if anybody is in the area, you should definitely swing by. I think both of those guys were there all 3 days. And Granny Con, no, there is no such thing as a Granny Con, Marcus. Rich Danny's just got here. I did show off your video earlier, so apologies that you weren't here to see it. But Carl's looking forward to the show in January. Exactly. It's going to be a blast. I guarantee it. Are we going to have a Hembeck panel at Megacox? Now that Marvel Fan is coming, we should have one. That would be pretty cool, Alberto. I didn't even ask Fred if he wanted to come this year. I was, because I've just known that it probably wasn't in the cards. We're fortunately going to have Fred on the show for an art sale and interview coming up relatively soon. But I thought year 2 for Fred would be cool. But you guys can kind of set up your own panel, get together, meet and greet of all the Fred Hembeck fans that are out there, because we know they are legion, of course. But Rich Danny said, no problem, my friend. You always film them horizontal, so I'm used to working that way. But vertical. But you should, if you do it horizontal, you'll get more people in there, and we'll be able to see more art. So, number one Marvel fan says Universal Studios is like a second home. Well, that's good, because back to talking about OEX just for a minute. I mean, we definitely are doing a Universal hangout the day after the show, the Monday after OAX. We've got definitely confirmed that Adam Kubert will go over to Islands of Adventure with us around lunchtime. So you can imagine probably between 11 and 1, Adam will be over there. Will he ride a ride? I don't know. But he'll definitely be hanging out and taking pictures in front of all the facades that he did all of the artwork for. So he will join us. I haven't asked Bill Morrison yet, but I can't imagine why Bill would not agree to meet us on the other side of the park and hang out at the Simpsons land and have a Duff beer with us around dinner time. So that's kind of my plan. And at least for sure, it's Adam Kubert will be there. So these aren't, tickets aren't included to Universal. So those of you who are going to stay an extra day will need to get your own Universal tickets, but it'll be a good time. I guarantee it. I'm looking forward to it. Universal's an awesome park, and getting to hang out with Adam, have him point out every hidden signature that he put, I think, in almost every one of the facades would be fun. We can see if we can pick it out before he has to tell us where they are. And Bill Morrison, I think, has never been to Universal, and he's not actually seen the Simpsons land there. So I want to be the first one to buy him a Duff beer. I don't know if he drinks, but we'll find out when we get him over there. At any rate, and I was talking with somebody today about somebody wanted to actually come in on Wednesday, and I know just based on the hotel reservations that there are a fair number of people coming in on Wednesday. So probably people who were planning to go to a couple of the parks. Somebody said, are we going to be doing something formal as a get together on Thursday? And I can't foresee myself or any of the people who are, volunteering at the show to have time on Thursday to do it. But if everybody wanted to have like an informal thing to do, I'd be happy to promote it. Like they suggested that that something they wanted to do was go over to Hollywood Studios because of all this the Star Wars stuff there. So if that was something that people were open to, I'd at least help promote the fact that it was going on. Maybe we could get it up on the Discord and share it on some of the socials to let people know what, when, and where. And Marcus says pizza at my house on Thursday. Well, that might be possible. I have a feeling on Thursday I'll probably be staying at the hotel. So that's kind of my plan. I think all the setup that has to be done on Friday, I want to be a part of it. Ram says wife and I are staying for a week after the show, going to need a vacation from the vacation. You got that right. Party at my house. That was something that Kazra tried teasing everybody. He wanted to have some kind of a Trash Bill's house event after OAX, and I could tell you Maureen would be busting chops if people tried to do that. So yeah, bring your own bill. I like that. You guys, let's see. What is this? Nick's talking about something. A week from tomorrow, I have a Romita Jr. Spider-Man cover to show issue 34 that will be best offer. And if I get 100 people in the room, I'm going to start a started at $1. Well, Nick, I know you've been trying to get 100 people in the live in there. It's not easy. I mean, look at tonight. I've only got 63. It's hard to compete with Thursday night football. Apparently, Jason's probably already switched over to that. But yeah, at any rate, so there's plenty of things going on with OAX right now. But moving right along, let's get this thing over to, we can get it over the schedule. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I just realized that I didn't put Fred Hembeck on my my updated schedule here, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why I would have forgotten to do that. But what do we got that's new on here? Next week, well, this coming Saturday, I'm going to have the Jiggy's crew on at 9 p.m. We're going to do a 9 p.m. Batman Day art sale. So we've got, I think there's going to be 7 or 8 artists that are with us, all new artwork, maybe a few pieces that you may have seen before, but mostly all new, created just for the show. I saw a couple pieces that Von Randall worked on, and they're phenomenal. So, I haven't seen the artwork in total, nor what the prices are on things, but it'll be a fun show. And come on, it's Batman night. Maybe I'll even have a beer and just kick back and relax and enjoy it myself. But it should be a lot of fun. We've been doing a few more shows with Jiggy of late, and I always enjoy hanging out with him and his crew. So then we have Dan Jurgens next week, Jim Amash, Dexter Vine Sale the week after that. I've got Zatari and Dinesh on the Tuesday, the 26th of September. We've got, what else did I add in here? See, nothing else. The Hakes preview. I'm going to be doing that with the guys from Hakes on November 7th. That's right before Comic Art Live, which is the weekend of the 11th and 12th of November. And as I said, I omitted putting on the Fred Hembeck show here, but I will be doing a show on the 18th of November, Saturday, because Koi Fam is actually not on the 18th anymore. See, I got 2 mistakes in there. Koi is actually going to be a panel now during Comic Art Live on the 11th. We don't have a start time for that, but he will be one of the hour-long panels. It'll still be an art sale show, but he couldn't do the 18th, and now the 18th is Fred Hembeck. So all of you Fred Hembeck fans, come on, put it on your calendar. Show that man some love. He is when we've discussed the show, he's not going to bring a lot of art, and it will all be at auction, which works pretty well, we found, right? We did the Amanda Connor show, and we auctioned off 3 pieces. They did fantastic. But he wants to auction the pieces off just because he's, now that you guys are just going crazy with his stuff on eBay, he doesn't know how to price anything anymore. And on top of everything else, he is going to, hopefully, or I should say probably, he's going to be bringing one published, and he hasn't, there's not a lot of his published pieces out there on the market, back from his early days, some of the stuff he did in Marvel Age and whatnot. So he really doesn't know the market for those either. So that's going to be an incredibly rare opportunity. Heck, I want to own one, but I can't bid on it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he decides to bring. And again, there'll probably be 6 to 8 pieces of art in that one. And I see Fish says amateur dueling dealers. Wasn't there some? I think I wasn't able to pay attention. I think it was when I had the stupid cat mask on last night. But I saw everybody was talking about another amateur dueling dealer setup. I couldn't tell if it was mano a mano or some kind of tag team thing. I think I saw Barucci and Lovitz and Alberto in the mix. I honestly couldn't see it because I had the mask on with no glasses. At any rate, if anybody's open for amateur shows, I'm always open to do an amateur dueling dealer match. So please email me and let's get something set up. We've only done like 3 of them this year, maybe 4. So we definitely need to squeeze in a few more before the year is out. Peter Rose says Jim Amash is pronounced Amish. So always surprised so many artists' names are not intuitive in pronunciation. Well, I'll have to remember that. I just told him as long as he brings his dad jokes with him, we'll have a good time. So So there. All right. So how many? We got a few what is this? Only 38 people in the giveaway so far. So come on, people, keep submitting the enters in here so we can have more people to pick from. Oh, so Nick says it was he and Alberto as a tag team. But who was he? Did you guys come up with who the other team was? That's the only thing I don't know. Cohen. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Marcus. Never let me live that down. Only rule is no Captain America. Yeah, that would be what the other team would bring, just to make Alberto break down. At any rate, so then we need another pair of people to go up against Nick and Alberto. So who we need some volunteers. I'm sure we can get Jordan involved if he is willing. But if anybody wants to step up, please let me know. All right, so scrolling through here. So why don't I go and, well, here, I wanted to show one thing. For those of you who watched all the stuff going on last week, I had set up that National Cartoonist Society Foundation charity auction stuff in my CAF gallery. And we were taking bids through the comment section. Everything seemed to work pretty good by and large. I mean, that was the first time for us doing that. So, it's a learning process. I think in some ways for people, since we had never done it. But when the proxy bids were done, we had already hit like $34,000 in proxy bids, which they were thrilled about. They were really happy. I think that when the in-person event was held, and there were other items as well, the original art still amounted to about $36,000. So by and large, I think 80% or more of the proxy bids did end up winning the artwork. So that was pretty awesome, and they were thrilled with that. I asked them to shoot some video and stuff from the auction and some of the event stuff, but I didn't get many. I know there were a few that were posted online, but Ken sent me this photograph of Bacon, Ken, and Bill Morrison. Look at that. I could never have gone to this thing because I don't have a suit that nice to wear, or a tux, obviously. So those guys were definitely classing up the place. And if as everybody knows, Jeff Smith had suffered some health challenges, and he was one of the honorees for Cartoonist of the Year. So they decided to put together a get well card for Jeff. And awesome. Pretty much, let me hide the banner here so we can look at the whole thing in its entirety. I don't know how large this card is, but every illustrator, every cartoonist, every comic artist that was there did signed it, sketched in it, and this thing's awesome. I mean, if this doesn't brighten Jeff's day, I don't know what will. So outside of just getting well, but I thought this was really nice. And he says, "Come on now, Jeff. There had to be an easier way to get your cartoonist friends to send you free sketches. Missing you at the 77th annual Rubens Awards. Get well soon." So yeah, that's very, very nice of them to do that for Jeff. I thought that was fun and very thoughtful of everybody there. But it was fun, getting to work with them. It was a lot of work, as all volunteer work always is, right? When you're trying to pull things together, working with people that you've not ever worked with before in situations that you're not accustomed to. But by and large, it went okay. What was the auction? That was well, I mean, it's still in my CAF gallery. You can see all the pieces that were in there. There was a Jeff Smith comic book legal defense fund piece that went for $9,500. The Mutts original went for $6,000. So those two pieces amounted for about half of the proxy bids. So that was fantastic. Both of those were won by the proxy bidders, and I couldn't be happier. One of the Xavier won the comic book legal defense fund piece, and he's a cool guy with a lot of great artwork in his CAF gallery. But yeah, if you go over to my CAF gallery, you can look at I think it's listed under I think it actually just says NCSF charity auction. So but yeah, it went really well. And of course, as everybody knows, there was the big Baltimore auction that was this past weekend for the Hero Initiative, and that raised $90,000. I think that's fantastic as well. I mean, I think when I did it with Dune Beer last year, we were in the mid 80s. So to see them hit, $90,000 is pretty dang impressive. I think, the Hero Initiative, does so many good things, and for and Scott puts a lot of effort into pulling all of those art pieces together. So being able to raise that kind of cabbage for them is fantastic. And I know I got a spreadsheet. Jim McLaughlin sent me one. I'm just trying to see if I can figure out where I put it on the hard drive here, but maybe we're not going to find it. But I remember that the big ticket item was the Walt Simonson Thor piece, right? It had Thor, Loki, and I think a few other characters on it as well. And where are we at here? Yeah, so the Simonson went for 20 grand. There was a Steve Purcell piece that sold for 10, and then a lot of pieces. There's a J. Scott Campbell piece that I remember was really nice. It went for 6. Darwin Cook piece for 2,000. Rick Veitch for another 2,000. So and a Berkeley Breathe piece went for $5,600. So again, great charity stuff going on this past week, and it was fun for me to get to be a little part in all of it. Steve says went for 20K. Yes, exactly. That was a pretty, again, that's awesome. Because I think even the piece he did last year, which was really nice, didn't come close to that. Might have went for like 12.5 or so. And Albert Moy wasn't in the room. Albert drove up a lot of those auctions at Baltimore last year. So no Albert, and it still did incredibly well. Right. So let's see. I'm missing a lot of the chat here. Sorry, guys, while I'm browsing my hard drive for stuff. But there's that. So you know what? It's time to open a couple packages. I have 2 to open today, and I'll do the one that's for me first. So this is from Anthony Schneider to me. This is the Frank Thorne artwork that I asked for. And after the show last night, Maureen wanted one of the unsold pieces. So I think next week we'll be getting another package from Anthony to open up. And I won't tell you what it was, but it was one of the unsold pieces in about the middle of his lots. So and as everybody knows, Anthony has all that Frank Thorne art. And when he was going through it, I did ask him for one of the Moonshine McJugs pieces that pencil pieces that also had a color painted piece to go along with it. Because it turned out there weren't many. He at the time when he was talking about them with me, he told me that there was it looked like there was maybe a dozen of them, but I think at the end of the day he only ended up finding 3 or 4 matches. So my goodness, he went the extra mile to wrap this thing. All right, so. It's all in here. Okay. All right. So it's going to have a lot of glare. But so original Frank Thorne. I'll let you guys look at it while I kind of look at it at the same time. So Moonshine McJugs from Playboy, of course. So this is the, he would do a pencil piece like this first. Then there's an inked piece. And then after the ink piece is done, he would hand color it. So this is not the original inks. This is it's a copy, but obviously it's oversized too. I mean, I don't have my tape measure with me, everybody, and I'm not going to put my hands on it. But so then this is hand colored by Frank, and this is it. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. So you don't always need to have the inked piece to get some good artwork, right? And as you know, I think Anthony's probably got 60 more of these that haven't, because I think he got about 100 of them that are still on his site for sale. And if you didn't notice, this is a Christmas piece too. Look right there. You got the Christmas tree. You got the Merry Christmas on the back wall. This is a piece right up Mr. Berkey's alley since he collects Christmas art. At any rate, very happy to have that. I've always, I want to get a Frank Thorne Red Sonja piece. That's always been on my want list. And every time I see one, it's again, I find a good one and I can't afford it because, prices of those pieces definitely are going up. But one of these days, I will get myself a Frank Thorne Red Sonja. Now, this is actually all of the artwork that's sold on the Amanda Connor show the other day. Jimmy got this over to me so I can get the shipping tomorrow. we sold 19 of the 21 pieces that that they brought for the sale. So I thought that was really good. Nice first time out with Amanda, and we did well. So I thank everyone who picked up artwork during that, because it was a fun, it was a long show. It went 3 hours. One of these days I'm going to learn my lesson and not talk so much at the front end and jump into the sale, because she did have a lot to say about the artwork that was there. You figure we started the sale literally like an hour and 15 minutes in, and we still talked for an hour and 45 minutes during the sale on 20 pieces. So, one of these days. But they had a really good, they were very happy when it was over. They were very hungry because it was running right through dinner time. But they were thrilled because they went into it without any expectations, because I temper everything going into just telling them, well, I'm always happy if we sell 5 or 6 pieces, and we did much better than that. So, man, I should have pre-opened this one. Jimmy packs these things like he's protecting it from a nuclear holocaust. Man, I might not be able to get into this tonight. Oh, nope, I will. It might be nuclear sound, but he actually didn't tape the end of the boxes here, so I can get into it from the side now. All right. Man, this is the first time I have never gotten art from anybody, from any artist, where everything's bagged already. This is new to me. Let's see. So, we got a lot here. There is that really nice Captain Marvel cover. That actually sold after the show. It didn't sell during the live sale. I had somebody inquire about it after the show, and struck a deal, actually. So that one's sweet. Obviously, it's a Jim Lee Uncanny X-Men homage. So I like that one a lot. I kind of made it the feature piece because, I'm the Marvel guy, and I wanted to make sure I focused on things that I like. I know this was going to Mr. Dave Kopecki, as was this page too. So we got 2 pages here for Dave. Congrats, Dave. I think Dave, you're going to be the only one that I remember who got what during that. This was one of the gargoyle pages that they had the show. Very nice. And this was an Excalibur page. Not sure the characters on that one though. I think it was the only time Amanda drew Excalibur. This one's really awesome. Obviously, this one went for $18.50. We did these at auction, right? We started this one at $1,000 and went to $18.50. I think it's, when I saw it, well, I won't tell you how we got to where we got, but there were fixed prices on all 3 pieces, and I said, I think that they're not enough, but I don't know what your stuff goes for, because you never, you don't work in that scale, and and these are 2 of them were cover homages, right? And so I said, if these were published covers, they're like $5,000-$7,000. I don't know, but we couldn't sell them at the initial thought, of what the price should be. So I just said, let's auction and we'll see where they go. And look at that. That's awesome. This thing went for $2,000. But, but again, the original that this was an homage to, it would easily be like a $6,000-$7,000 cover. I mean, that they would price it at. They wouldn't sell it for less than that. And then this was the other commission style piece they did beforehand. So that one went as well at auction. What else we got here? These are, okay, here are the 2 Power Girl pages that were made available. Those are really nice too. I thought, the thing was that when I talked with Jimmy before the show, he said, some of the stuff is on the site. I'm going to take it off the site, and I'm going to lower the prices on them, because I want to do that, because we're doing a show with you, and I want things. He didn't say he wanted to sell out, but he was like, I want to sell things. I want to give people a deal because we're working with you on this. This one I remember went to Matt DiTullio, and that's was like a cover for a comic that was put in with a video game. And then I think Nick Barucci got that Gargoyles page, now that I think about it. Then we got this was the JLA versus Suicide Squad cover. That turned out pretty nice. Congrats to the winner on that one. I don't recall who got that one. And then another Gargoyles page here. I think both Gargoyles pages went to Nick. And then we got some of the Soul Searcher stuff, and all this stuff was like really affordably priced, right? Like this might have been $100. Again, they were just going through stuff, and I will tell you, because Jimmy and Amanda are going to be at OAX. Jimmy, most of the time when he goes out to shows, he always has a stack of pages that are like $150 or less at his table. So, for those of you who, want to just get an example from Amanda or Jimmy, you should hit them up early, because there's probably going to be a stack of 50 to 100 pages that are super affordable. And, here's a cover to Soul Searchers. I think this thing went for $500. I mean, again, they were in a selling mood when this thing all got started. I think this one went to Gabe Carino, one of those Soul Searchers preview pages. I thought this was really nice too. Jim Mooney inks. And another Soul Searchers page. And another Soul Searchers page. And then this was that Soul Searchers cover. It's the only thing not in a bag. Look at that thing, man. That's wonderful. So there you go. It was on the back of Marvel Comics board too. So all right. Well, there you go. Lots of nice artwork. I gotta get packing and shipping. I'm gonna put this someplace safe. I'm gonna put this over here with the Dexter Vines artwork. All right. I better make sure I didn't leave any art in the box. We know I can get into trouble like that. No, that's everything. All right, cool. So there you have that. It all does look stunning, doesn't it? Hey, how's it going, man? So let's see what else we got. We should move on to. I've got a page I love bit here from Kevin Sharp. He's just amazing how much energy he has to keep pulling all these together. But as long as he's willing to do the interviews for me, I will be posting them up here for everybody to enjoy. So this one that we've got tonight is from comic book editor Joe Illidge, and he's picked a page of Frank Miller written, David Mazzucchelli drawn artwork from everybody's favorite Daredevil story, I think, where the artwork is going for prices that many of us can no longer afford. But another interesting take, because it's not an artist, it's not a writer. Now we've got an editor, and it's kind of a different perspective on things here as well. So let me go ahead and show off the latest page I love from Kevin Sharp.
Hi, it's Kevin Sharp, and today's guest is editor Joseph Illidge, who is currently writing a column called Adventures in the Champagne Room that you can find at thepopverse.com, talking about the behind-the-scenes creator triumphs and struggles in the comics industry. Joseph, thank you for joining us on Comic Art Live.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Great to be here.
So, a little behind the scenes for the viewers. When I reached out to you about participating in this series, you immediately planted your flag with the page that you wanted so that nobody else could claim it. So please tell us what you chose and how this immediately came to mind for you.
Okay, great. And yes, I had to plant my flag. It's like no one else can touch this page. You're out of the picture. So one of my favorite comic book stories ever is Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli, Joe Rosen, Christy Scheel, and Ralph Macchio was the editor. And so probably my favorite page in comics is from, Daredevil 232. It's the splash page, and the title of the story is God and Country. And it's a splash page of Matt Murdock and Karen Page, and they're hugging each other, and they're in some kind of rooftop construct on the top of the building where they're hiding from various people, and they're just in normal clothes, and there's a reddish sky in the background, and it's just such an emotional page that for me, it's my North Star as an editor and quite possibly as a writer. And I remember when I worked at DC Comics in the Batman editorial department, I had an 11 by 17 color copy of this page next to my desk. And one day, Frank Miller visited the offices because Bob Schreck took over as a Batman group editor from Denny O'Neil, and Bob, of course, has a long-standing relationship with Frank. So Frank came by the offices, and Bob introduced him to me, and he saw the page, and I told him, I said, thank you. I said, for me, this is the gold standard.
Were you reading it off the stands as it was released?
I started in comics in 1993 at Milestone. I feel like Born Again may have been coming out before that.
Yes, it was the late 80s, I believe.
Exactly right. And I was buying it off the stands. I remember hearing about Frank Miller coming back for a story that was going to shake Daredevil to its foundations. And when I read that first issue 227, I was hooked. In for a penny, in for a pound. I was going to follow this all the way through to the end because I had not read a superhero comic like that. And I felt that it was an evolution from his first run on Daredevil, in which he started as an artist with issue 158. And then I believe he started writing it with issue 168. And so I remember reading Daredevil Born Again month after month and being on the edge of my seat and just seeing how he was up in the ante and seeing the amazing work of David Mazzucchelli. David Mazzucchelli, he literally was evolving as an artist during his run on Daredevil, and Born Again was the culmination of his evolution on the series. And I had been familiar with the work of Christy Shield for years, and on the page that we're talking about, she was actually credited as Max Shield. And I don't know why that is, if that was her nickname or if it was a situation where there was still a level of prejudice against women, so it was felt like if they took on names that could be perceived as masculine, then that would be less problematic for them, for the public. And Joe Rosen is an amazing letterer, and I love hand lettering. There's nothing like it, and you can really tell it when you see it, and especially when you see original artwork and you see either the lettering adhered on the board or you see the vellum overlay with the lettering on top of it.
So when people think of Born Again, I think there are certain like super dramatic developments in Daredevil's life that probably come to mind in the story. What does this page do for you?
I feel like it's the most evocative of the love and the pain and the relationship that is the story of Matthew Murdock and Karen Page. They have a love affair that goes back to Daredevil #1, right? Karen is his original love and his first love, even before, at least in terms of the chronology of the comics, not necessarily Matt's life. For Matt's life, Elektra Nachios is his first love. So to me, you could go from Daredevil 1 to this page, and it's this very long, dramatic arc of these two people, and just the way they're holding themselves, they're holding each other, rather, and Karen is biting into Matt's arm, right? And she's biting into his deltoid muscle, and there's no words coming from either of them, but you can just feel it. It's a really evocative page that makes you feel something a guy I know, he's now an editor at First Second Books, and I remember we were having dinner, and I said to him, what is it that you really like about this particular person's writing? Is it their use of language? Is it certain narrative devices? And he said, it's not the writing, but it's how it makes me feel. And I never forgot that. So this page makes me feel so many things. If I was just seeing it for the first time, if I never read the story and had no context, I could see this page and it would make me feel something. So to me, this moment is more at the core of Born Again than possibly any other, with the exception of Matt and his mother.
Well, Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. I also wanted to point out to the viewers that Joseph's the co-writer on a new kids graphic novel series from Simon & Schuster called Judge Kim and the Kids Court. We'll put up an image for that at the end. But thank you again for talking with us about really one of the best Daredevil stories, I think we could all agree, in the history of the character.
100%. 100%. I'm going to call it the best. That's the hill that I'm going to die on. And I've read a lot of amazing Daredevil stories. And thank you for having me. It's great to be able to talk about art, which is really at the core of comic books, and this page in particular, which for me, no matter what your interest in, whatever genre, whatever generation you are, I think you can look at this page and I think you can see amazing artistic virtue in it.
Indeed. So thank you, Kevin, again, and thank you, Joe, for doing that as well. We've got more to come too, because Kevin keeps rolling these things out. He's got a long list of people he can work with, because he's been interviewing people, creators, for a very, very long time. So I think we'll see this segment for a while. I saw in the chat Marcus was asking if we'd have any preview images for Jiggy's stuff. Jiggy, I like to send out a preview email the day before the show. So if I could have some of those images tomorrow, that would be pretty cool, because I will be sending out a mailing probably mid-afternoon promoting the Saturday show, and then another reminder email on Saturday too. But give me some of the teaser images that are okay to share, and I will get those in there. Now, while that was playing, I actually got a text from Jeff Wedding. I mean, many of you may know or don't know, but Jeff and Stacey Wedding are out enjoying Hawaii for, I think, a week or two. And I don't think they're watching the show. He just knew we would be live. So he sent me a text, and turns out they are hanging out with Larry, our pal Larry, and his bride Linda. So they just sent me a shot of them having some shaved ice. So here you go. Look, while we're here hanging out, enjoying each other's company, they are clearly having a wonderful time in Hawaii. I forget where he's told me he was going, but I know that it was a postponed anniversary trip for him. And so they're kind of making up for that, and it's probably a couple of weeks that he's going to be out. So well-deserved break for them. And look at Larry, still the happiest guy on the planet, as well he should be there. It looks like there's like pineapple on the shaved ice, huh? That's it's interesting, very interesting. I asked him if he's had any spam. I'm like, shouldn't you be eating spam? And he said, sure, and Kahlua pork chops. And we needed to eat some shaved ice as well. So there you go. Wonderful to see them both having a very good time. It is a great pick, isn't it, Aranga? So nice to see our friends out there enjoying life, and getting out and going out to Hawaii. I texted him and reminded him I'm going to go to Hawaii next year with my family for that Pokemon thing in August. So Jordan's already helping me look at some places where we can stay while we're there at his castle resort. So I'm looking forward to that. I really will take it. I think we're going to take like a 2-week vacation, believe it or not. I don't know what you guys are going to do for 2 weeks when I'm not doing that. Maybe we'll have guests sub in. Larry, could sub in for a show for sure. I know that we could easily get a few others. Dino, I think Iranka could probably do an interview or two. That could be fun. And and I'm quite certain that we could get Ken from 4C to do something on the show too while we were out. But yeah. Number one Marvel fan says Josh is doing great in England. I'm not sure why. I must have missed that. Spam Wasabi, yes, from any ABC store, says Chris Norick. That is, I have not had the pleasure yet of trying that, but I do. I look forward to it since it seems to be the delicacy there. I've been to Hawaii once. I think Ashton was 3 years old, so that was 22 years ago. Calf was a twinkle in my eye at that time. So Josh Flanders, that's right. Oh, you guys are absolutely right. They look like they're having a great time. And an extended trip over there too. So that's Rod Flanders. Yes, Josh Flanders. So anyway, what do I got next? I got a few other things here. We've got I've got the Layton update for you. So Bob was going to be on with me, and I didn't know how he was going to do that because he's in Greece now. So that would have meant that he would have had to have come on, at 2 a.m. or something like that. So I didn't think that was possible. So it's not possible. So he has sent me some recording from that big fat Greek wedding that he went to, and he promised that he would be live next week. So we'll have him on, and I think he's actually going to be back in South Korea again. So, but I think we're going to get a scoop on what he's doing next week. And he gives us an update on that film project that he's talking about. Apparently they're going to start filming in, I think, January, which is right when OAX is. And remember, Bob's supposed to be a guest. So we've got a conflict here. We're going to have to resolve with Bob next week and find out, where does well, if it's a film or OAX, I have a feeling he's going to lean towards the film, but maybe it'll get pushed into February. So we'll find out. Maybe he'll have some more information for us next week. But here is Where in the World is Bob Layton?
Done. What's done?
Hi, everybody.
We're on the island of
Helos. Yes.
Helos. Look at this. I get off the plane, Americano waiting for me. What a guy.
Wow.
This is the groom. Introduce yourself.
I have plenty of time to back out.
No. This is important because, I do my podcast. It's going to be on my podcast.
Oh.
The CAF podcast. So nice. This is his last day as a free man. He's getting married tonight. How about that?
He's also an awesome partner.
He's also marrying one of the most beautiful women in all of Greece.
She's beautiful. Yeah,
yes, she's very much beautiful. Yes, and talented and all that kind of stuff. Definitely marrying up.
True. That's
all right. So we're going to go to the hotel. Apparently, I only have 6 hours, and then we're going to go to a wedding. How about that?
Yeah.
More later.
The wedding is going to be inside here, this castle.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Right there?
Yep. So below the, after the walls and stuff like that.
In the dungeon.
Yeah, probably.
Fantastic.
Preview of my wedding, of my wedded life.
More later. Apparently, Eva Fushka didn't show up. She stood me up. What can I do? So this has been going on for like 30 minutes. It's still, Greek weddings are very long. My advice to those lovers who are thinking about getting married, elope. So, here we are. As you probably know, this is going to end my around the world trip, this trip to Greece. I'm going to be here for another 11 days, and then I head back to Korea. I will talk to you about that more on the show on Thursday. But in the meantime, just enjoy the friggin' view. It's Wednesday night in Greece. I'm back in Athens. And I realized that there's no way in the world I'm getting up at 4 in the morning to do the podcast live. I'm sorry, guys. I just, after that whole thing in France and our first thing, I'm like, I'm not doing it again. You just have to wait till I get back to Korea. I'm leaving here on the 20th of September and heading back to Korea. I land in the morning on the 21st, and I just have time to go into my new apartment before I head to the very first drink and draw that we're going to do there. So I will have footage of that for next week's show, which will be live, and my pal Joey will be back on the air with me. As I said in the previous video, I would explain some of this. As you know, I've been working to get this feature film of mine made. Well, it got financed and funded. The contracts are done. So it looks like that we'll start pre-production sometime in January, the way the director thinks right now, which means I will have to go to the Arctic Circle in January to start working on the film. So I thought it would be more prudent, rather than come back to the States, get an apartment and buy a car and then just leave for 3 or 4 months to make the movie, to just stay away. So Cleo, Joey's wife, found me an apartment in Seoul, and I'm going to sit there and get used to winter gradually as it gets colder and colder. Since, as you guys know, I have not lived in a cold climate for 30 years. It was either LA or Florida, so going from there, there to the Arctic Circle is a bit daunting. That's why I'm wearing white. Look at me, I got my little snow bunny thing on here. Anyway, so I'm gonna sit in Korea and do what I have to do. I'm gonna go back to drawing. I'm gonna start taking commissions again, and I figure I'll just work and doing that, and as well as pursuing some television and movie things that are potential that I have going on in Korea as well. So I'm just gonna do that and hang out with my Korean friends until time comes to make the movie. So anyway, next week we will be live with Joey Kroner from Dice and Comics Cafe. So I apologize for this, but I'm just getting way too old to do this at 4 in the morning. Hey, I love you guys. I hope everything's great. I'll tell you more about the movie next week. Hopefully I can start releasing some information about it or whatever, but in the meantime, hang in there and we will have some footage from Drink and Draw for you when we see you next. All right, take care, guys.
The happiest 70-year-old in Greece, Bob Layton, or Tom Layton, as that he's known in South Korea.
Good old Tom.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm well. How are you?
I am very good myself. I mean, it's been an eventful week. Honestly, we've accomplished many things here, and you know, I mean, that's always a good feeling. I mean, there were a few weeks there where everything felt like it was stalling around here, but we made headway in the last 7 days on a lot of projects. So yeah, it's all good.
All right.
Yeah, and, you know, and it's funny. I've been, you know, friends with Bob on Facebook, and he's been posting drawings that he's been doing. You know, he's like talking about he's been itching to draw again. It's like he could take 6 months off and still be able to draw a really great Iron Man or a really good Spider-Man, and not even, he could probably do it with his eyes closed.
Yeah, I believe that. I saw a nice Silver Centurion that he posted on Instagram too.
That's right. Perfect. Yeah, he's amazing. So hopefully it doesn't screw up his opportunity to hang out at OAX. But obviously, hey, a film takes precedence over, going to our first show. I'm sure he'll be around for the next one if. Yeah, I know how it goes. But that reminded me though, because I saw somebody say, "How's he filming during the during the strike and everything?" And it reminded me of a question I saw earlier. Somebody asked me about the Kevin Smith auctions that are happening at the end of September, and I still am in communication with Kevin's people, but Kevin's filming right now somewhere in the U.S. Apparently he was given permission from the unions to do it, so he's been filming some new top secret project. So they're like, we can't get him to say yes or no if he'll come on the show for any length of time to help promote his auction. So we'll see. I have another call with the guy who's the man who runs the
New Jersey auction house. Yeah.
No, well, the secret stash. Basically, Kevin's guy, Michael Zapsik, I think is his name. He's the guy that he said call him tomorrow. So I'll call him tomorrow afternoon and see if they've heard anything. And if you can't make it, I'll just say, well, have him record something. Just have him pull up his damn phone. Say, hey, comic card fans, I got an art auction. You should bid on my stuff. So I'm gonna get something from him. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah. So hey, what else I got? I got to do the heritage picks, and I've got the EXP preview to go through here. But yeah, outside of that, I thought there was something I was supposed to tell you, but now I can't think of what it was. It'll probably come to me while we're kicking things around here. But it had something to do with OAX. Strangely enough, what the
somebody making fun of my accent?
No, no. Well, somebody always makes fun of. Well, Marcus is in the audience. You've got an hour to go here.
Never Marcus. He's much too urbane to make fun of something so banal.
Man, you look like you have more boxes on that back. I see a Masters of the Universe logo, I think.
Yeah, my I buy all of these Masters of the Universe toys for my nephew, and yeah, Snake Mountain came today with some other stuff. So he's gonna have a good Q4.
Dang, look at that. All right. Well, let's see here. Let me queue up my my heritage picks here. Gotta start that, stop that. Come on. Where are you? Oh, here we go. Okie dokie. So we've got yeah, look at that, huh? This is James Stocco, Batman Black and White issue 5 pinup. Look at this thing.
Oh man.
I saw this and I'm like, this has got Chris written all over it. If this was on Cap, he would have picked it.
What's this at?
This is $1,550 already on day. What is this? It's day one, basically. We haven't even gotten it 24 hours. The signature auction's going on, and somebody's bid this thing up to $1,500 already.
Good taste and big money. That's a dangerous combo.
I know. Look at that thing, man. That is incredible. Cool.
It's like H.R. Giger met Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, no, that is just awesome. It looks better than when I looked at it earlier. So Steampunk Freeze says #1 Marvel fan. Yeah,
he favors the Kelly Jones ears too.
Yes, he does. Marcus will appreciate that,
or not.
But yeah, nice piece. I mean, I'll be curious to see where it ends up. Right? I mean, is there a lot? Do we have a lot of like market knowledge on on what James Art?
That's high for a Stocco piece, I feel like, but his work at the big two is next to nothing. So
interesting. All right, well, I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I won't be bidding on it, but yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful piece.
Very cool.
Yeah. Now then, I picked this one just because it's it's early Perez Avengers run, Marcos inks, but you got Ultron on it too. You got Beast and Wonder Man. So if you're an early Perez fan, it looks like it's got a lot of glue stains on it. But either way, I mean, I'd want to own this piece. And yeah, it's at $1,000 already too. Again, it's just a piece of history. Getting an early Avengers Perez page.
It's Wonder Man too, I assume, right?
Yeah, well, you get Wonder Man and Beast in the same panel. I mean, it's only the one panel, but still, it's like two your favorite lovable oddball characters from Avengers, back in that time period. So
Beast is probably thinking, Simon, Ultron doesn't breathe.
Exactly. You fool.
He's the brains.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, nice page there, and $1,000 early. Then this one, I have read a little bit of Planetary. So this is from Planetary issue 1 from '98, and it's at $310 now. But Cassidy, I mean, there's a lot of Planetary fans out there, so I just thought this was a nice page. Shows off his talent from a little over 20 years ago.
I have a really nice Planetary page, and I'm always feeling like I should add another one.
Well, this might be one for you. I mean, I like it. Because he does funny stuff like that, where he'll like heavily, ink one item or panel and or figure on a page, and then the rest of it is almost more like all this line art stuff. I mean, it's funny. He chose the jacket as the thing to kind of overemphasize here,
Yeah.
but I like it.
I have is one of the Hong Kong Ghost Cop pages, and so the Ghost Cop is always ink wash, and everything else is just ink like straight up and down, which was a cool effect in the comic. And Cassidy was taking a lot of chances back then.
Well, yeah, this is nice, and I mean, well, do these pages go for a lot? I have no idea what Planetary market's
really,
like.
But they're worth having. I mean, it's good to feature those.
Awesome. Then we mentioned Bob Montana either last week or the week before, and I can't remember why. We were looking at some strip art, and I think it might have even been on Dueling Dealers, where somebody was like, maybe that's Montana. I don't know. At any rate, then I saw 2 Bob Montana Sundays in this current weekly auction from Heritage, and I just thought, hey, let's show off some Bob Montana Archie Sunday work. I mean, what more? It's fun. It's great. I mean, it's classic. What year is it? 53.
Man,
so we're talking 70 years old. I mean, I think it's a great piece of art. I mean, I don't know what Jughead's doing in a baby carriage there or whatever, but he's got the bonnet on, but still lovely, lovely page. Then next up, I picked a Coipel Thor versus Silver Surfer page. I mean, look at that. You get a great, look at right. I know that to me is the best part. I love this first panel though too, but I just love the way Coipel draws Thor. He's
like flat face, wide nose. He really took him in a different direction.
Yeah, and I always love the way he did the armor, with the plates like that. I mean, just a cool way to draw it, and you could tell he was enjoying it. So and then the first panel. It's I didn't know it was Surfer, at least initially when I'm looking at it, and then I had to read the description. Like, yeah, okay, it makes sense now.
And this thing books, that is a good page.
Agreed. I love the way the panel layout is.
All the board is flying away, breaking the panel border.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just playing around with the some of the action lines breaking the panel border too. I mean, it's a really, really nice page. Gosh, I'm liking it more now than I'm looking at it, because I've never, for whatever reason, I always feel like Coipel's like out of my reach. Whenever I look over at Quan's site and I see a piece by him, it's like, boy, I can't buy it. But I could play around with bidding on something like this and seeing where it winds up.
There's a DPS from that run with Beta Ray Bill in it, and like every time I look at it, I'm like, ugh, like should I? Can I?
Exactly.
Right in the thigh gap.
Right in the thigh gap. Yeah, but so no, very nice piece. Should do really well. And maybe I'll throw a bid or two on it. Then we have a Before Watchmen page, Rorschach. This is Ivan Rice and who was Joe Prado inks. I just think this is a really well executed page. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I think it was a variant, right? Yeah, it was a variant to issue 4, so not the primary, but still, that's awesome. I mean, it's funny now. I'm looking at it, it's like the jacket, lots of ink, just not like the Cassidy, but
I love the dual image too.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, this is no, I like this. Once again, I like it a little bit more than when I first looked at it. So and the very nice piece
feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. And it's $260, so not too pricey at the moment. Then this next one was an odd pick, but I had to go for it. It's a John Byrne penciled, then inks by John Newberry. The name doesn't sound familiar. I mean, maybe I'd go to CAF and find out they were a regular inker. in the 70s, but you know, I mean, clearly they kind of follow the lines. But I mean, come on, it's a red Sonia pencil sketch from John in 76, inked by Newbury in 79. But you know, I'm not going to complain. At the end of the day, it's a nice image.
Yeah,
So yeah. And then next up, this is a Justice League of America page that I thought was freaking great. I really like this one a lot. I mean, it's all character stuff, right? You get Hawkman, Hawkgirl on the first two panels. And look at these. It's just like you get, you know, great close-up shots there. We understand Hawkman. And you know, you get Invisiplane. I mean, even then, every single one of these panels looks great. And as an overall page, this thing, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I would love to own this page.
When the Justice Leaguers would cross over with the JSAers, like that was my favorite thing back in the day. I collected all of those books, like obviously way after the fact as Silver Age titles. But yeah, this is, man alive, this does something to me.
Doesn't it? I mean, I definitely would like to own this page. I mean, I'm not going to bid on it because I'm on a budget at the moment. But
those two Hawkman shots are worth it alone.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny? I mean, it's like, but it kept getting better as I kept looking at it. I'm like, I like this page more, even more, and then even more, because it's like, you know, if this was an X-Men page, you know, that when they're, you know, flying in the Quinjet, I mean, you'd be all over it. You know, you'd have Rob Liefeld putting a $40,000 bid on this thing right now. You know, but it's JLA and JSA. But anyway, it's still Dick Dillon, great page. Was it Frank McLaughlin inks? So it's a winner.
Awesome.
Oh, shoot, got that one in there. And then I have it up twice. So let's see. Got over here. So this Simone DeMeo. Now that I saw that Matt DiTullio corrected, I think Berkey last night. Simone DeMeo. This is
this was for sale very, very recently because I almost bought this.
Oh, really? I feel like I'd seen it someplace before too, but I wasn't sure where. So you're saying it was up for sale. So, well, it's up for sale again. And apparently it's only at $45 right now. Peacemaker cover. Yeah. Where was I? See, I'm trying to see. I did miss one piece here. I had one other image, but anyways, I thought this was a great image. You know, Simone has a kind of a slick, very fine style. And overall, this one kind of captures
looks
style.
Digital, but isn't.
Right.
Awesome. I like the composition of this. I mean, for some reason, like he's just chilling, having a cup of coffee in front of his arsenal. But yeah, this is cool. For, you know, the reason I didn't buy it in the first place was because I felt like it wasn't DeMeo enough. Like he's got some of the technique in the pants and like with the shading and stuff on the muscle shirt, but I thought like I'll wait and see if something that's a little more like that Daredevil we talked about last week pops up. But this is great.
Indeed, it is. And here, I'm going to throw an extra tab in here and see if I can make this work. Come on, there we go. So my last pick was this Dan Barry Flash Gordon strip from 65. Only because I mean the art's okay, but I just thought it was. I mean, it's so kind of funny. You know, I mean, look at her spacesuit.
She's like really now, yeah, for sure.
She's like in a flying trash can with a glass dome on the top of it.
I like the composition though. Like each panel is basically just them, and it like gets tighter and tighter. That's
right,
cool.
and they're floating in space, right? I mean, you can, you know, I did like that as well. I mean, and it's kind of like it's not the whole triangle shape thing that, you know, Ruben talks about carrying you over from panel to panel. It's these kind of concentric circles moving you through. But I thought that was cool.
Together.
Yeah. But again, they both had the craziest costumes on. I mean, I don't know what he's in. He's like in a bucket. But either way, Flash Gordon and what was it from? 1965 by Dan
She looks
Barry.
like one of the disembodied heads from Futurama that's in like manning an iron lung.
It's true. Yeah, Adam mentioned that Space Iron Lung.
Yeah.
Great for collectors of trash can. I know. I'm telling you. I saw that. I mean, I love this image. It's great. And where is it at? It's at $4. Everybody. I mean, it's a deal right now. I'm going to throw a bid in on this one. So, and there were actually a few. I mean, this week's auctions look pretty good. So, yeah, I'd say for those of you who, you know, we've had a couple down weeks. I think you'll see in the market data report that think Heritage didn't even hit 100,000 on their auctions the week before because there just wasn't any high ticket items. I think the highest price piece was like $4,000. So and that's kind of unheard of. We never see that on the weekly auctions. But hey, let's go ahead and show the preview for the EXP. I know
bring out Baruch.
Yes, Barucci is in the audience. He's been cheering everybody on. He said we're up to 77 likes. That's good. We don't even have 77 people watching us right now, so I appreciate that.
Pre-likes.
The miracles and wonders of YouTube. But as everybody knows, Nick took last week off so he could be at Baltimore. So he's raring to go. Who knows what he'll be wearing tomorrow, but he's bringing lots of art. He's hoping to get 100 live viewers. I hope it happens. It's hard. It's difficult to do on talk shows and sales shows, but if anybody can do it on a Friday night, it is definitely Nick. He'll be on tomorrow at 7. He's on every week at 7 to 8:15 every single Friday evening. So let's give this thing a look and see what Nick is bringing tomorrow.
Everybody, this Friday, September 15th, I had to think about it for a second. Amy shook her head. Yes, I got it right. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And before I go into this, hit that thumbs up. And at the end, share. Sharing is caring. All right, so this Friday, the 15th, the day before Batman Day, and we might have a few things going on Batman Day, but for right now, let's talk about what we have Friday night at 7. We will have George Perez Teen Titan Splash inked by Bob McLeod. It is gorgeous. We are going to have a few artists whose artwork we've never had. A little bit of Val Semix right here. Awesome page. Tony Daniel. We've had some Tony Daniel before. We're going to have a little bit more Tony Daniel now. Let's see if I can put it in without dropping it. We've had Robson Roca Blue Line inks for the first time, I think. We're going to have Robson Roca pencils. So we'll have that. I don't believe we've ever had Hugo Petrus art. We'll have Hugo Petrus. I'm fairly certain we've never had Jean-Jacques Jalowski art, so we will have that. I don't believe we've had Paul Gulacy art. This is Batman Legends of the Dark Knight 11 by Paul Gulacy. This is awesome and oversized. I can't remember us having Lee Weeks art, and here's a Deathstroke cover with Batman. We're also going to offer this near complete issue of Detective Comics 638, and with the exception of the first page, I believe every page has, you guessed it, Batman. So some pages he's more prevalent than others, so check it out. Hey, even Bruce Wayne still counts as Batman, but he was putting his mask on. I am not good at this. I should let Amy do this part. She actually would do it flawlessly. So check it out. I think I'm right. Batman on every page. Wow. All right, I'm going to stop here before this video runs too long. But if you want to look it up in advance, Detective 638. Plus, we're going to have Green Lantern Green Arrow recreation by Mike DiCarlo. Someone was asking me to put my Submariner #1 recreation on the air, so I'm going to roll the dice and put it there. Oh, look, Marvel Knights 4. They've got me in the TV. Or is that Submariner? I don't know. Kind of looks like me. I got to ask about likeness rights on this one. Then we're going to have Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Joker Omnibus layout for approval. We're going to have a Brave and the Bold 200 recreation by Ed Hannigan. Then we are going to have Craig Rousseau, Gotham Adventures. Gotta love the Man-Bat. And we gotta have a little bit of Marvel. So we're going to have Sinister War #1, page 15, pure pencils by Mark Bagley with Mary Jane, Spider-Man, and more. And for a premium collector, we have Venom 200, and I'm going to have to do this really close. Pay the entire sequence, page 49, page 50. Oh, I don't have to count it out. You guys know. Check it out. This is going to be a complete sequence, and I'm going to just stop here. Otherwise, this video is going to run too long. We're also going to have Amazing Spider-Man 57 by Bagley and Hennessy. I've always said Hennessy's one of my favorite inkers on Bagley. I'm going to show a piece of art. Not sure I'm going to put this up for sale. Dan Brereton, Harley Quinn, to be determined. We're going to give away this Future's End page that, well, it's Batman Beyond and it's gorgeous. This is going to be our giveaway on Friday. We will have a little bit of Battlestar Galactica by Jim Starlin to mix it up. We might have these 2 Star Wars pages. Oh, boy, we'll see if we have enough time. And we're going to talk about this Amazing Spider-Man cover that'll be first offer on the 22nd. And then we'll show maybe a little bit of other cool collectibles, like this panel that was cut out that was never used for X-Men 208. Some cool pieces of memorabilia I got from John Romita Sr. So, there'll be some conversation. There'll be some fun. It will be this Friday, September 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm not even going to say the time. I almost said 4 p.m. Pacific. Amy's doing this, so I got to go. Hit that thumbs up, share. Looking forward to being seen on Friday, everybody.
Holy original art, Batman.
There was a lot of Batman art in there. That giveaway piece of art, he didn't mention the artist's name, but that was a pretty nice piece of art. I like that top panel. Whoever the figure was with the TVs and monitors wrapping around them was a really cool image. The Batman Beyond page. Yeah, I might have to tune in just to see if I can win that for myself. But it reminded me. I showed these images last night, but seeing Nick CXP reminded me of Ken Hazer. And for those of you who didn't watch Dueling Dealers last night, Ken did a bang up job for Gabe Carino. Gabe had ordered during the Kickstarter 4 cover option from Ken, so he got 4 covers to choose from, and he wanted to do one of each of us, Mike, myself, and Anthony and Sharon. So I had to show these off because great likenesses here of Mike and I, of course. These are just fantastic. I cannot make that smile. We tried it last night. And then Anthony and Sharon here. Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
These are really,
Sharon's
really
dead on.
Isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Anthony's a little bit of a caricature, but Sharon, she's like spot on, gets her totally. So,
Anthony
that's
looks
awesome.
like he's also solving a crime. But I think that's the hat.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because other than that, he looks clueless. I'm sorry, but he pointed out that he noticed that Ken didn't sign Sharon, so he said because Ken is going to be at OAX, so he said I'm going to bring my book to OAX and get him to sign it there.
There you go.
But hey, I mean, after you've seen that, I mean, I think he can do pretty good job on likenesses. He should do some more of that. So let's see. You also missed Psycox. Yes, you did. I still have the visors right here, but they are not going on. We had a lot of fun last night. I had to dress as Cap just so we could get an art sale done, and I did it. Not in the crappy small Cap mask, but it worked. I did it. We got a sale. So let's dive into the CAF update, shall we? We have this is from the week of the 4th through the 10th of September, and down week for dealers. Didn't hit 200,000 this time around. 2 weeks ago they were at 282. This week they were at 189. Anthony, who had his make offer sale show with the Frank Thorne stuff, came in first. He had 96 sales, $66,000 of that. Berkey had 6 sales, 43,000. Panel Page, 5 sales, 31,000. Scott Eater had some sales, 18, and Albert came in last at 15,000. So let's take a look at the top 6 sales from dealers last week. And where are you, video? Here you go. So there you get it. Under 200,000. Does not happen often here, but it's happened again. First up is this Ernie Chan Detective Comics 465 cover. It's from 1976, sold by Romita Man for the asking price of $25,000. Then an artist we don't see too often on anywhere, in fact, Chris Ware. This is an Acme novelty page. Jimmy Corrigan, issue 14, sold by Scott Eder for the asking price of $18,000. That's a great example of Chris's work. Then, yeah, this is a nice page from Thor 177, Kirby Coletta, sold by Berkey for the asking price of $15,000. This is a panel page sale. Blackest Night Titans cover variant. This is up on CAF, getting a lot of views and comments. Perez art, of course, and was sold for the asking price of $8,000. Which kind of feels like a steal, this, for a Perez of that caliber. But then another Perez piece sold by Glenn as well. $7,500 asking price on this JLA 195 page. Another great example from Perez. And guess what? It's a trifecta here from panel page. Avengers 200 page by Perez. Another $7,500 page. That's a pretty nice one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all around. But yeah, it's like any cover Perez that that much detail. I mean, I know it featured Tara, but still,
she was dead. But
yeah. But hey, eight grand. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. Now we can take a look at the auction results. Auction results were, I guess, subpar. We could say $269,000 for both eBay and Heritage Weekly from last week. Now, the week before it was 504, but I know that there was a specialty auction in there for a couple hundred that got it to where it was at 500. So it's just a little below average. eBay made up 172 of that, but it was Heritage that was the one kind of making things be a little bit of a dogged results here. They only did $96,809 in total sales, which is, again, that's just weird on a weekly auction, but maybe they were doing that because of the signature auction. I don't know. But let's take a look at the top three from eBay and top three from Heritage. So first up is this Glenn Fabry Wizard cover from 1996. It was listed at $17,000, but it did sell for $13,750. I mean, very classic image, and I think it had to have been used more than just on a Wizard cover, because I've seen it, I feel like, on a couple of different things. Then this one did sell for a lot less than the asking price. It's a Rob Liefeld Deadpool 1 sketch cover that was listed at $6,000, signed by Stan Lee. It's still sold for $1,850, which is still surprising, but better than 2/3 off. And then this is a Outcalt Yellow Kid sketch. This one went for $5,200. I mean, I don't think we ever see anything by Outcalt, so that's kind of interesting that it was on eBay. Then over on Heritage, this is the Kirby and Joe Simon Boys Ranch page. It sold for $4,080. Then another Kirby Bullseye page. This one went for $3,360. I mean, two Westerns at the top of Heritage's Weekly. That tells you a lot. Then finally, that Sal Voluto Bob Allman page that I featured did do pretty well. $3,360. That's a strong price, I think. I mean, this is from a, like I say, Voluto's work on Black Panther is freaking amazing. And
I think that's actually well bought at that price, to be honest.
Okay. I don't know. I've never looked at any market data results, but hey, you're gonna make me go look it up later.
Well, I'm just, as an example, I think that's a pinnacle example.
It's a strong piece, that's for sure. CJ, shamefully after watching the Eagles game. Well, that's where I knew all our viewers were watching the Eagles. We must have a lot of Philadelphia fans in the audience. And Minnesota fans, right? Isn't that who were playing tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to talk about the Vikings. I'm in Wisconsin. If you say the name, you feel like somebody's looking in your window at you. Like,
you hear a double barrel, like
you're not a fan, right?
All right. Well, so those, that's your market reports. Not a solid week. I think combined between auctions and dealers, it wasn't even a $500,000 total. So that's kind of pitiful, but. Yeah, it is what it is.
He'll be roaring back next week because he did that big Otley drop today. So
that is very
not Otley segment.
Yeah. There were I had a flurry of emails since I'm still blind carbon on that thing. I got to take myself off of it, but I always know when Felix does an art drop, because from noon until 10 after noon, my mailbox is flooded. Yes. So, but yeah, there's that. And didn't he have somebody else, or maybe he did another drop? No, maybe that was the only drop this week. Either way, it'll be a solid week next week, we hope. But it was busy. You know, at the end of the day, you think about last week, you know, last week was the amateur match, $43,000. You figure that also had the Baltimore auction, $90,000, the National Cartoonist Society auction, $40,000. Anthony on Wednesday did his, his Thorn / make offer thing. That was $27,000. So it's like, we go through all this data, and then there's all this other data that we can't, that isn't accounted for and all that. So there's a lot of money being spent out there, even when my reports don't reflect it in that same kind of way. So, all right, well, we can get on with the top 20 picks from you and I now.
Let's do some picks.
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to go get because I'm thinking this first one, is part nostalgia, part it's a damn good piece of art from you. But we'll see what you have to say.
Isn't that what this hobby's all about?
It is. It totally is, man.
50-50. Sometimes I don't know.
All right, here we go. Here we go, Joe. So what do we got? Is Mike Zeck, John Beatty, G.I. Joe cover, and what issue was it? Oh, 37.
Yeah, so it's Zach Beatty. That's a big thing for me, obviously. I think Mike Zeck he's on my Mount Rushmore, so to speak. So I just love the concept of this. I mean, they're parachuting in a tank. I think that's Flint jumping off, and he's attacking the guy who's on the top of a roller coaster, who's Tomex or Zaymont, one of the twins. So I was a huge G.I. Joe fan as a kid. It was like G.I. Joe and He-Man for me. Like, that was the thing. Transformers kind of in there too. But so this is definitely a nostalgia pick. I just love, there are so few of these. Well, there's actually quite a few of these G.I. Joe covers, but they're so coveted. And so when one pops loose and somebody picks it up, I just feel like that's a holiday almost.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a great image. And, Zach Beatty as a combination are always, they were great together.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I hate to say I didn't read G.I. Joe when it was coming out. I have actually gone back and read a few just to kind of get a feel for it. But I just love seeing anything that those two guys worked on together. It doesn't matter if it's Captain America, G.I. Joe, whatever. They were just such a great pair. So Zeka is, I'll see what CJ says. Zeka is one of those who's always consistent. Absolutely. Great composition here. Panic at the carnival, or what is that? Yep. Colin says G.I. Joe was my gateway to comics. Wow. This is like an origin story, Colin. Well, I feel like you should come on for an interview sometime, sir. Mm-hmm. Exactly. He's, come on. I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and my editor won't come on and let me interview him. This has got to end. This is before the end of the year, Colin. You've got to be one of my guests, because you can't dribble out your origin story like this, in the chat. So
I'm here for it. I'm lobbying hard to get Colin on here.
Exactly. I want to know. All right. It's going to happen, and you're not allowed to. No drinks until the show's over. That's the rule.
I don't abide by that rule.
This is Justin Porter's cap. I'm sorry, I didn't even know that, Justin. I saw you say you scream "Yo Joe" in there too.
So I might have contributed to this purchase, I think, because I just bought a piece of Hellboy art from Justin. So maybe I had something to do with this deal coming together. I'd like to feel like I did.
That's hey, yes. Well, we saw Matt Tutulio pick up something, and didn't Anthony have a snarky? Well, we know Matt's got money because he was just on Amateur Dueling Dealers. I'm just laughing. Anyway, love Anthony for that. So let's see. We got a Moon Knight page, issue 23. David Medina's Calf Gallery, Alessandro Cappuccino. I can't click on it, unfortunately, but wow, man, this is some beautiful ink work on here, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm nuts about this guy right now. And at first I was like, is he just really good at drawing Moon Knight? Is that the thing? But then you see this absolutely insane take on Venom that's stylistically the same as him. He kept it his own, but it's clearly Venom. It's also an awesome interpretation of Venom. And then if you take away the figures, just that night cityscape unto itself is incredible. Like the uplighting, like the light pollution from the bottom. This is just, it's a great composition. It's thoughtfully executed. And like you said, his style, like the way he's inking is just, there's nobody else doing this right now.
No, I mean, that's amazing. I'd love to see this piece in person. I mean, the crescent moon behind the city, the layout of the chains.
Yeah, the chains are like
brilliant.
Bring
light flare. I want to see him just do a Venom. I mean, looking at that,
Yeah.
I want to see more Venom on this page. I mean, this is an amazing piece of art. Wow, who reps this gentleman?
This is Cadence. So you and I had a little conversation about Cadence this week. I'm waiting for a piece from this very artist.
Seriously? Oh man. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what it is.
I might have picked this out of frustration.
But yeah, no, man, looking at it, the ink work on this thing is really beautiful, unbelievable. So, all right, I'm going to have to go check out Cadence's site after we're done here. Now, Steve Caballero, Rat Fink original. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Who is the owner of that piece? Oh, David Medina. That's right. All right. I was like, wow, I got to go back.
He, I think, posted several pages from that issue this week. So he's got more than one. He likes Cappuccio as much as I do, or maybe more.
Cappuccio, is that what it is? I said cappuccino. Yeah. Cappuccio. Oh man, I need a cappuccino.
You need one. Yeah,
I do. All right. So hey, at least I didn't say Frank Miller when I was looking at Frank Frazetta with The Night Is Young. Steve Caballero, Rat Fink, and who's David C.
So Steve, this is a pure nostalgia pick for me because I skated when I was a kid, and Steve Caballero was my favorite skater. So he rode for Paulo Peralta back in the day. I didn't even know he was an artist. So when I came across this, I was kind of like taken aback by it. And like the Big Daddy Roth stuff, to tell you the truth, never did anything for me. Like the Wild Wheels and like Rat Fink and that kind of stuff. Never really got into that. But this is just awesome to me because I didn't know it was a thing. And so I was just taken aback by it and had to pick it.
No, it's really cool. I'm surprised the Big Daddy stuff didn't do anything for you, though. That's, I always thought that stuff was cool. And I got a Zevia right here, everybody. I'm overworked. I'm overworked. I'm sorry. And I'm not reading clearly. Clearly, I'm like my kids, like I always get on them because they'll look at a word and they'll pronounce it and it's totally wrong. And I'm like, did you not read it? And here, what am I doing?
Did you not read it?
I'm taking after my kids now. But I think these are cool. I remember there was always like trading card sets of the Rat Fink style characters back in the day, or stickers that you could slap on your lunchbox. I mean, I always thought that stuff was cool. Who remembers Odd Rods? Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking about. I'll have to dig those out. I've got like a huge stack of those that I got off eBay one time. But hey, this is in Comic Art Boston's CAF Gallery. I knew that one because I was curious who picked this up. This Tim Sale Daredevil Yellow. This just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love the action lines throughout it. It's an awesome piece.
It's stunning for so many reasons to me. I mean, one, very little is happening on this page. And the fact that he decided to do it in just 3 big panels, I think, is so perfect. Like, what a great decision. I love the smirk on Daredevil's face in that second panel. I mean, that is so like evocative from like the yellow costume period. I think is so cool. The ink washes here are insane. And like using ink wash instead of like, over the top like action lines to like this blurring motion where he's throwing this guy by his ankles. I mean, there's just so much to love on this page. It's every panel has something like absolutely incredible in it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's fantastic. Cab's been picking up a lot of great art of late. Well, always. But it's a nice Tim Sale, definitely. And we know that from the heritage auctions we've seen of late, his Daredevil, his work on Daredevil is really sought after. So yeah, it's a great piece. Congrats to Cab, wherever he is this evening or this morning for him. This one I know is in Hans Calf Gallery. So from Tri-State Original Art. So like on that one, you got a Travis Space Girl 2. I mean, look at this thing. This is like a vintage photo. I see. Exactly, vintage photograph that's been had some weird mezzotint applied to it.
Yeah, like retouched somehow. Especially like the texture on the spacesuit is so over the top. It's so dialed in. It's so like unnecessary, but it's what we've come to expect from him from this period. So it's like dead on in that respect. I just like, man, I don't know where to stop or where to start with this thing. I love it so much. I love how photorealistic it is, but at the same time, it's just like a well-composed, like awesome illustration. Her face is clearly not quote unquote real, but the rest of it very well could be. If you like have this image up and you take your hand and black out her face, because the face is like, she's almost like too pretty or too perfect to be a person. But if you just look at the spacesuit, it could be a photograph.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah, well, Travis is just I don't know how he does it. I mean, to put the effort he does into these pieces, it seems like it'd be agonizing just to keep rendering these. I
think you just have to be possessed.
Yeah, it looks laborious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fantastic piece. And Hans doesn't he doesn't have any duds in his Calf Gallery ever. I mean, he's always got a great eye. He sells great artwork on his site. He's just always when you see him at San Diego, it's not like you're going to see great stuff when he's showing off his stuff. And he always sets up at Comic Art Con. Jason would attest to this. I think he would say the same thing. But but it always, and he's one of those guys, he's been around a long time, and he always impresses me because he'll pick up stuff from modern guys too. And, a lot of those guys who've been around, for 30 years, they're kind of stuck in their Kirby, Buscema, mindsets. And he probably has really good ones from them too, but he'll pick up a Travis or a Pachalo piece or that kind of thing. And, I like that. I think that's pretty cool for old geezer like Hans, who's never been on my show either. And I think I've asked him at least a couple of times, and every time I ask, he doesn't even reply. So he's another guy I should try to strong arm to get onto the show.
Fun to talk to in person, though.
Oh, heck yeah, exactly. And that's why I think he'd be great on the, again, anybody who's been in the hobby for over 30 years has a pile of stories to tell. And he would be a really great guest. So I'm going to write it down. Colin first. Hans second. There we go. Now this is in Steve Crozier's Calf Gallery. Wonderful Joe Kubert. What was it from? GI Combat from 1957. Really?
Yeah, super early.
Oh my goodness.
I loved the facial expressions on this page so much, especially those dirty Nazis in the machine gun nest. Look at that guy smile. Both of them are smiling. How creepy is that?
Exactly. Wow.
But it's got all these awesome sound effects everywhere. Like it really puts you there with the bullets that are like hitting the ground next to him and like winging off of things around him. And like, it's got the prototypical, like, I'll take care of this with this one grenade, that we've come to know and love from these World War II comics. But normally I don't think about Kubert for like facial expression, but that's what this whole page is about to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. The guns, I really didn't look too closely at this, how the gun's basically chipping away at his cover until he's got nothing left, and he has to throw the grenade. That's really nice storytelling. I think he got him. I think he got
them both.
But yeah, no, this is I was sold from that second panel too. I mean, that's just a great single panel, enough to scare you from ever wanting to join up.
Goblins.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is good. I mean, Steve's got a good eye, and he's a huge Kubert fan. I know, that right. I mean, he was at that. Remember, there was that Joe Kubert show or a gallery show in Spain. I think he was there, so he might have been a part of that. Maybe contributed some art, but yeah, I'm sure he was dancing on cloud 9 when he got this piece.
An
So
amazing
congrats.
page. I love it.
Yeah. Like on that one. Now we got a Cam Kennedy piece here. This is from Boba Fett 3.
I'm like, I'll admit anytime that I'm a mark, but I am an absolute mark for Cam Kennedy. I love what he does. I love how he does it. I mean, these panel compositions, like each individual one is absolutely awesome. They're just perfect. Like, this is such good storytelling. And for me, it is all about his palette. Like, the choices he makes with colors are incredible to me, because it's very flat and it's almost monotone in places, but the way he picks it apart with ink and the way he picks it apart by changing the tone slightly just sets everything like one layer, and then it all works together.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. I love the third panel with just the white, that's,
yeah.
He doesn't need to draw any shock lines on these people. It's written on their faces and the grimaces, and their expressions. I mean, it's wonderful storytelling, and then him just puttering off while these guys are, clearly in misery. Yeah, that's
they both just got darts in the eyes.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot too. I do love the color palette. I mean, you're right. It is kind of flat with the with just these green or kind of aqua-ish tones to some of them, but it works. It works just fine. So yeah, I like this one.
And it's also like incredibly uniquely Cam Kennedy. You can't see a Cam Kennedy page and not know that it's his. There's never mistaking it.
Yeah, no, I like this one. So let's see. This was in Nathan S's calf gallery. Right in the eyes. Always love Boba's wrist gadgets the most. You got that right. From Comic Art Guide. What is Comic Art Guide? Do you know?
Nope.
Never heard of it. Maybe I shouldn't be opening it on public channels. Maybe it won't go anywhere. Comic Art Guide. What is Comic Art Guide?
Strong image.
Yeah, about us. Welcome to the site. Well, they haven't written anything in 3 years, so maybe that's why I don't know that. All right. I don't know. Maybe it was a good idea. It looks like I'll have to look at it. I have no idea. I always like to know what people.
I think he posted another page from this same book that was equally good, but I was kind of a coin flip. I like this one just a teeny bit better.
I see what you're saying. Oh, he likes Alexis Zirit as well. Let's see here. Oh man, that's nice too. The blues kind of make this feel a little bit different than that other page, but man, like that top panel, that's
but awesome. When you think about it, it's three colors essentially. It's yellow, blue, and green.
Yeah,
that's all he's doing.
Do you think he likes Simonson? Yeah. Little affinity, and not necessarily, and in a weird way, I'm thinking more about the layout, but I see it in see a little bit of it in some of the character drawings, but it's still clearly his own. I mean, totally. But the panel, the structure, the way he's done these, the way he handles storytelling. I mean, Walt's a great storyteller too. I like it, but it just makes me want to go read some Cam Kennedy stuff.
Well, his Star Wars books, they're all good.
All right. Let's see here. What do we got next? See, I picked this one for the show cover, and you picked it. You swiped it from me, Chris.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry.
It's okay.
I did my picks before you put up the show graphic. In my defense,
that's perfectly fine. I mean, the color palette on this one wins the day, right? I mean that the greens with the oranges here and the reds. I mean, man, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. I mean,
another guy who is an absolute maniac when it comes to the amount and level of rendering and detail, like we were talking about with Travis. I mean, I don't know how Chris Stevens gets any of these done. I mean, look at the detail in this. And I mean, I don't want to sound like Berkey, but there's a lot of detail here. And there's a lot of, look at the little thin white highlight he put around the entire figure that just like, it's almost like a tattoo effect to like set it apart from the background.
Right.
But the flat green tone that he chose to put in the background, it's not even really necessary. It just looks cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just like this old farmhouse or whatever. I mean, just it's beautiful. I want to see more of that too. It's like, because whatever he puts his mind to and starts rendering, it's just top notch. I mean, and he's always had a flair that kind of stood out. His use of color has always been superb, and and you know it when you see it as his own stuff. But boy, oh boy. Yeah, this is a nice piece. It's almost like I don't even want the central figure in there anymore. I mean, I'm enjoying this squid-like thing with the with all the skulls on the end of it, and that farmhouse, and just even this. I mean, I'm trying to think place like what kind of stylistic art genre that fits into, because it's like these. I feel like I've seen that before. It's with the line work like that, just to kind of create a texture. But either way, I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Chris Stevens
harkens back to what I said, I think, a week or two ago, which is like the level of artist that's working on Spawn right now is through the roof.
I completely agree with you there. Now, Carl. I think we saw Carl in the chat earlier. Oh, there he is right there too. This was supposed to be an orange yellow. He added some green and then kept going.
Oh,
I'm glad he did. I mean, the green.
Complementary color.
Yeah, that worked really well. Tentacles, says Marcus. Yes. Scott Wingo will never be able to live tentacles down. Every time you should always say Wingo after you say tentacles. So we saw an Iron Fist page in the auction today that I think that went up. But here we have another Iron Fist burn page, 1976, Adkins Inks. There.
I love Burn. I love Iron Fist. This is like just a tip top. If you're going to get an interior page from one of these titles, man, this is one to have. I love the noir feel to it. I mean, I don't associate that with Iron Fist, but it's all over this. And like, yeah, this is just the rain effects. Like, it's just such a perfect interior page from this run. And like, I think any Burn fan would be happy to have this.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, with the gun in silhouette, kicking the guy in the face. You're right. I mean, it does have a very much a noir feel to it. Storm's, done really well as far as the rain and the lightning in that one panel. Yeah, no, this is a great page. I love early Burn stuff. I just think it's not quite refined Burn artwork, from FF onward, but
talent's there, but the technique isn't quite matching yet.
Yes. Oh, Scott's in the audience. He heard me say his name.
He heard tentacles, and he was like,
"Oh man!" Nice pickup here. And who was the owner of this piece? Kareem El Rafe. Yes, we've featured many artwork from Kareem's Calf Gallery. Wonderful taste. I like on that one. And last but not least, this is a James Heron Ghost Rider in Aranga's Calf Gallery.
So I know that you're not on Instagram, Bill, but this piece basically broke the internet.
Really?
When it got posted, yeah. I saw it get reposted and reposted and reposted, and then I think like it was getting attention from like magazines and like illustration magazines and film magazines and
wow.
Yeah, I mean, you name it. And it's easy to see why. I mean, this thing is nuts. As far as like, I don't know what James Heron can't do at this point, because he was the screen tone guy for a long time, and that was kind of what he was known for. And then a bunch of people started doing that, and he was like, I guess I'm not going to do that anymore. And these commissions, he started doing like itty bitty kind of like bits of color in his commissions. And then before you know it, you could get full color commissions. This is obviously one of those. But like the fire effect on this, or fire effects on this, it's so clever to me what he doesn't draw. I mean, the fire is just pure light, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing like within the fire to like rein it in. It's just like all energy and like light on the page. And that chain is the perfect example of it, because you can make it out as a chain because you know that it's Ghost Rider and, you know, that kind of stuff. But like how he did that with just orange and white basically is, and then blurs it out when it gets closer to his hand because it's further away and it's hotter. And I mean, it's less distinct. I mean, he just made so many incredible choices when he put this image together, and look at how it works as a whole, you know, a whole.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want to actually just view it that way. So let's see it as a complete piece. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's just Ghost Rider walking. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like he's not fighting someone. There isn't even a motorcycle here.
No, don't need it. Don't need it at all. Well, that's awesome. So Oranga got a highly coveted piece of art from Heron.
As well as a lot of hatred from his fellow art collectors and fans.
Well, you know, I mean, that's kind of Oranga's thing, right? Is getting commissions from artists, and so yeah, I mean, and those can be hit or miss. So I'm glad he got one that you know, is as nice as this one.
I myself sent him a very sternly worded DM.
Where's Oranga? He's probably fast asleep. But very nice pickup, Oranga. Let's see. There was a.
What's the alternate image? Do you mind?
Yeah, it says prelim. So
okay.
Very, very rough kind of layout. And then what was the other piece? Oh, just on the.
Oh, a photo. Ooh. Man, the photo might be even cooler.
Yeah. A little more contrast in that one, but hey, Oranga's back. So much hate mail.
Well deserved.
Well deserved hate mail. Well, congrats, Oranga. That's a beautiful piece of art there, my friend. Let's see here. Let me find my tab. Where the heck is my tab? What a mess of windows here I've got going on.
We should have kept Oranga in the green room so we could gloat about it.
We could send him nasty private messages. the thing we never use here. All right, here. Let me present my pics here. Where are you? There you are. Okay. All right. So I like this one. This is in Dan Gallo's CAF Gallery. And so a collector who of distinction, one of the guys who started Comic Art Con. You get a Kirby Russo FF 27 page 20 page. You get Submariner fighting Reed. You know, I mean, you know, in a way I don't like the inks, but I love the layout on the page. I love the two characters fighting like that. You know, you got looks like the Human Torch coming in there for you know, he's saving the day. I don't know, but you know, you got a huge thigh gap there in the fifth panel, but you know, you get two. I don't know. I bet you there's not a ton of great Subby versus Reed fight scenes out there that, you know, that are as good as this one. I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, they had a lot to fight over, thanks to Sue being what she was.
He always had the torch and the thing to do his dirty work when it came to slugging Submariner.
That's true. Well, you know, he's the smartest guy in the room. He's going to make other people fight for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great piece, and Dan's a great guy as far as you know. I've met him a few times, and he has a very nice collection. And you know, this is an early interior page. That's nice to see. So
yeah, very
again, issue 27. Nothing wrong with that. Next up, Don Newton and Batman. This could be on Nick's show tomorrow. Alfredo Alcala inks. I just love that. I love the whole page, and it's funny because, you know, a lot like when we were looking at those pieces that Nick was showing, it's like got Batman action all over it. He's fighting this leopard, I guess it is, some big cat. But I actually like Alcala's inks on this too. I mean, yeah. But the first, you know, the lighting, you know, coming through the window like that. So it just makes for a really dynamic lighting on both characters.
The movement on this page is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot. The more I'm seeing it, I'm looking at it again.
That the last two panels, I mean, the stuff he's doing with Batman's cape,
yeah,
and like the cat is so like life, you know, like the way he's drawing the movement of the cat too. This is a great page.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, it's slick. I mean,
Yeah.
no, good example. I think you can't go wrong with that one. And this is in Rick W's calf gallery. Congrats, Rick. That's what I remember was in Paul's calf, right? Or am I mistaken? Let me see. Paul Pappas. Yeah, it was Paul Pappas. So Frank Tarrant draws some really rough and tumble characters.
Gnarly, yeah.
Gnarly. That's a better way to put it. Very gnarly. And a gnarly art style too. You know, I mean, really very much his own, right? I mean, because there's a lot of people who draw gnarly characters, you know, today. Quietly, you know, you name it. There's many, you know, Bisley. There's lots of people, but there's a lot of like fine detail in this piece by Frank, and yet it's gnarly and gross and you know, all at the same time. I just loved it. I just love the way he's drawn Castle in this. I'm assuming it's Frank Castle.
I was gonna pick this. I felt like it was too on the nose for me.
Well, that's why I picked it, because you know, well, I think it's anyway. I love the composition. I love what, you know, whatever those are, power lines. I don't care what they are. It just frames the page nicely. Just you know, it's just beautiful. I mean, as ugly as it is, it's very nice. So what do we got? Yeah, I don't know. See, I'm looking at it. It's just a cool title page, right?
It was, yeah, awesome splash. I mean, Frank doing what he does. That's hard to beat.
Yeah, yeah. Then this is in Bill Morrison's calf gallery, a Steve Ditko piece, and I don't know anything about it, but I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, I mean, because I've always been looking for, well, you know, what's my Steve Ditko example going to be? I'm feeling like it's probably going to have to be like an Indiana Jones page or something, right? And then I see something like this, and I'm like, damn, this is what I'd like to own, you know, because it feels Ditko, but it's a character piece. I don't know who Winnie the Witch is at all. I mean, it probably is some weird Charlton character. I don't know what, but it's just cool. And it makes me think like maybe there is a Ditko page out there that I can find for myself that's unique. It's not, you know, obviously Spider-Man's way out of the question, but you know, it's not going to be, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't, you know, I've thought my way out of most Ditko purchases, but at any rate, I like this a lot. And I'm kind of jealous of Bill that he found this and I didn't.
This is like a little bit, I mean, this was a little bit surprising to me, because to me, this feels like kind of like light and fun for Ditko, like a little bit characteristic, as certainly as far as the material is concerned. But like, it's a kind of a pleasant surprise to me, like especially her face and like the coffin shaped panel. Like this is just more, I don't know, like I said, more fun than I associate with typically with Ditko.
Yeah, but now Marcus has ruined it for me. He said she's got a McDonald's belt buckle on.
She does.
I can't unsee that now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If anything, shouldn't it be the other way if she's Winnie the Witch? Not.
You're right. It should be the other way. That is curious, but again, I like it. Just gives me hope at the end of the day. You know, I'm like, wow, that's, you know, if stuff like this exists,
I can do that. Yeah,
I might be able to get one of these days. So why did go made Squirrel Girl? Okay, fine. Let's see here. I don't know what the color pieces were. So it is a Charlton Ghostly Haunts ad. Okay, blah blah. Anyway, beautiful piece. Bill and I were bidding on the same piece in that charity auction. I won that one though, so I one-upped him last week before I saw.
Maybe he'll trade you for this.
No, this one's way better than what I got. But I'll share what I got another day.
Ooh, I missed this.
Yeah, I found this one. Honestly, I was going through my list this morning, and then I kind of came across this one. This is in Matt Tutulio's calf. You know, it's you know, a Sienkiewicz color Black Bolt.
And I love it.
I don't know, did it mention like a year or anything when it was done? No, but I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, it's got everything you'd want in a Sienkiewicz piece, from the ink work to the color work.
Yeah. You
know, the energy, you know, he's packing everything into this that you'd want. I mean, yeah, the more I'm looking at it, I'm jealous. It's beautiful. And again, look at that. He's actually, you can see he's like painted the full page. This isn't him just doing the character. He's really put a lot of work in this piece.
Is awesome. I love the pose. I love Black Bolt. So and I love Bill Sienkiewicz. So this is a combo I didn't know I needed.
Now you do. Yeah, that's nice. That is really nice. Congrats, Matt. Wherever you are tonight, Matt. I know he was crying on Facebook about he's a Jets fan, so he's unhappy. But yeah, this is
you got our old QB there, and I mean old.
Well, yeah, retired is probably the name of the game now. But this is cool just because there's a lot of these Brian Bolland or Bolland. See, I say Bolland, everybody else says Bolland. I'm sticking with Bolland. But there's a lot of these out there. I've always wanted to get one. Cover
this
prelim.
Is like e-cover though.
I know. It really. I mean, it kicks so much butt. And but I thought this was just a good reminder that while we're not going to get any more originals out of Brian, that these pieces still are out there. These cover prelims, and whether they're 100% accurate to what the final cover look like, or they're more of a rough or a just a one of his trial pieces. They're really, really nice. And
this is more like a comp to me than a prelim, because he's even got the titles in there. I mean, he's got the he hand rendered he did all the lettering. He even did the logos. I mean, this is more than a prelim in my mind. Like, this is as close as you get to the final product without it being the final product.
Yeah, Nick is jumping up and down thinking about this one.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Nick. I mean, it's great. And again, and what who is this? Paul Skid. What is that? Let me double check that. Yeah, Paul Skidmore, new collector, or at least new to CAF. Only been there since January of this year. What does he say? This was picked up by my brother at UCAC 87, where I went for the ball and babe. He chose wisely. But Brian agreed himself because he told the publisher, blah, blah, told us. Okay, well, anyway, very, very cool piece to have, and glad it's on CAF. I wish it had a little bit more contrast in the scan, but other than that, I think it's awesome.
I distinctly remember this cover. It's red. The word law is yellow. I mean, yeah, this is this in my mind is the Judge Dredd cover. This belongs in a museum.
Well, there you have it. Everybody, you got to go over to Paul Skidmore's CAF and leave some comments here. Marcus did. He even says, prelim to the significant legendary #1 cover. Most of the U.S. were introduced this way to Dredd Stories, and the launch of this issue is one to remember. Even Mark Levy says, sweet piece of history. Got to agree with him.
Very cool.
Then this one, this is in Mickey's CAF gallery. Abin Gustavo. I'm not familiar with the artist, but this is a beautifully rendered pencil piece.
Yes. Abin can draw.
See, so you know the artist.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I'm just remarking.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, good. Then I'm glad, because I was unfamiliar with the name as well. But I just thought this was it's beautiful. I mean, the attention to detail, the figure work is great. The cityscape is fantastic. Because rendering this piece, obviously Abin knew they weren't going to ink it, so they could go full out on the pencil work on this cityscape, and it's beautiful. I mean,
had the T-square out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm not sure. I like the chicken like thigh. Okay, Marcus, you're always picking apart things, man. What about the pigeon legs? Why don't you talk about those next? At any rate, I like the piece, and Mickey likes it too. I'm assuming this is a commission. Yes, a birthday present from DJ that I forgot to post until now. Let's see. Okay, so Abin is a Brazilian artist who used to sell his art on eBay. He unfortunately has been inactive. Oh, that's too bad, but a nice birthday gift for you, Mickey. Then this is from my buddy Stephen Davich, a Paul Smith Nightcrawler piece, and I mean, I think this is awesome, right? Who doesn't like the swashbuckling pirate
the solo series Nightcrawler? Yeah,
look at that. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, this could be a T-shirt image, I mean, get the Bamf in there. It's great.
And look at how Paul is still killing it. This is from 2023, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
man,
I wish I don't know why. Paul's the guy. When we had a wish list, he was at the #1 on our wish list for OAX because he just never goes out, and of course he'll still never go out. But when he can do stuff like this, I mean, he could just spend a month doing pieces like this and come to OAX, and he would sell out.
Yeah,
people would be at his table first.
Updates, it's gone.
I know. I mean, oh my gosh, I would kill. I've never met him. I mean, I would kill to have him be at a show, or to even just to see him at anybody else's show too. This would, but still, he's amazing. I
added my first Paul Smith this week.
You did? Have you in your calf?
I did. Check it out.
I will definitely check that out. No, love it, and congrats to Steve on this one, because this is a good one. This is a really, really good one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now, this is a Murphy Anderson, and it was a commission piece too. And again, I mean, this thing is freaking amazing. What is it? It's from '87. So, but so I guess you could say it's a little bit later in his career in a way, but I think this is gorgeous. I want to own this thing. Look at all the work.
Bill, I'm just going to call this out, and I may have said it before. You're a Hawkman fan.
I am a Hawkman fan, and I don't understand it. I don't know the character. I don't know
have to.
Right. I mean, because I got to get that Qbert Hawkman. It's still, it's going to haunt me until I get one. But this is, I mean, isn't it? I mean, the amount of detail that he put into the wings on this thing. I mean, I love the musculature on the character. Maybe he's got a chicken leg too, Marcus, but it don't matter because this
it's a hawk leg.
It's a hawk leg. But it's in your face, man. This thing is great. I love it. I absolutely love it. See, there you go. Bill likes the hawk leg.
And for my money, he threw Adam Strange on the bottom there. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Rom, who is a Hawkman fan as well, says it's harder to understand people who aren't Hawkman fans. But either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a great image. Fully inked commission piece. It must have done it at a show, or maybe it was a charity auction or whatever. Anyway, fantastic image here. And Wally Harrington is the proud owner of this one. So congrats, my friend. And then I picked the Steve Rude Nexus page as my last one. There's no midtones in this. It's all, heavy, stark blacks and whites. I love the composition of the page. I love, I love this slightly, larger panel hit for the first one, then a little bit narrow on the second one. I love the way that this piece, this panel is framed like that. And then I love this top-down shot of everybody charging into the middle of the fray here. This is just a fantastic composition layout. I love it. I mean,
the junk that's breaking the panels between 1 and 2 there.
Yeah. This thing it's gorgeous. So cool. All Rude, and this is in Doug L's calf gallery. Man, it's Miller-esque, says Marcus. Yeah, I guess in a way, but still, it's well, I can see why you're saying that, but Miller wouldn't have done the panel work quite like that. But either way, this is I'm looking at it, it's just a great composition. I mean, I love it as a work of art. Doodles in the margin. You're right. Look at that. Rude the dude.
This is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early Nexus too.
Yes, Doug L. So anyway, congrats on that one. Wonderful piece. So, man, well, it's fun. Like you said, there was a lot of good art post to CAF in the prior week.
Yeah, a wealth of great art this week.
Yes. We had the good fortune of getting to go through all of it, or most of it. You do a better job than I do. But yeah, no, that was good. So, well, I hope you have fun, with your nephew's Masters of the Universe stuff back there, my friend.
That's birthday and Christmas already taken care of.
Oh, you're shopping early for Christmas. That's funny.
I just when the stuff comes up for pre-order, I pre-order it, and when it shows up, it shows up.
See, I walked into the girls' office today, and Maureen and Gwen were in there, and there was like they were looking at Marvel related stuff on the screen. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're shopping for Christmas. And I'm like, it's September, 14th or whatever.
That far away.
Well, that's what they said. Bill, Dad, it takes time.
Well, his birthday's in November, and then Christmas is the next month. So I'm done.
Well, that's good. Well, you know what? It would feel nice to be done with all of that in September. I mean, so I guess I get it. I get your approach to this. Marcus said terrible picks, no Mannix.
Oh, did you do the drawing?
Did I do the drawing? Oh, I didn't do the drawing. Holy crap. Oh my God. I'm so happy you remembered that.
Oh, I didn't. Gerd Scheller did.
Gerd. Oh, shoot. I didn't even see that, Gerd. Oh my God. Thank goodness. Thank you, Gerd.
What a calamity.
Oh my God. Well, here, I hid that screen earlier when I was flipping through stuff. So let me go back to my my Battissimo screen. My goodness, everybody.
I want to be in here because if I win, I'm going to flip out. I never win anything.
Now let's get this thing back. I have to actually go back into it. So let's see here. Let's get all this, get myself back into the darn app. Wow. I would have been a real doofus for not taking that. So, all right. So we got, let's at least, we'll give everybody 10 more seconds because a lot of people came in late. So let's at least remind you that there was a giveaway tonight, everybody. All you had to do was hit ! Enter in the chat and to get yourself submitted. We have 44 people in for this, and I recognize every single name. So if they're not here with us any longer, I can easily get back in touch with them. But yeah, so man, Gerd, thank you for saving our butt. More Zevia and cappuccino for Bill. I get it, Cappuccio.
They're brutal.
I'm never gonna mess that one up again. All right, we got Balmer in there and Essenson now. All right, we're up to 46. All right, now we're gonna draw because we're gonna pick 5. So I'll pick the first one right now. And we've got a Scott M has our first winner. Sorry, Chris. You never know. That's only one. I'm picking 5. So we've got the 1. All right. Let me pick another one, you dumb thing. It's like frozen. There we go. Okay. Now I can pick another one. Eternals is the second winner.
Entered just under the wire.
Oh, seriously? Literally. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sorry, everybody can only do it once. Lee Harmon gets the third one. And it's like, come on, screen. There we go. And we got 2 more to go here. Mikhail ML has 1. And 1 more, Chris. You got 1 more chance here, my friend. James Siegel.
Come on, this is rigged.
It's rigged. Oh my God. I can't believe it. Well, there you have it. That's like, okay, wait. I'm picking a 6th one. Chris, I'm gonna pick a 6th one here.
No. It's not gonna be me anyway. I never win.
Oh man. All right, you're right. I won't do it. I'm not gonna jinx it. But congrats to ML and Lee Harmon, Scott M, Eternals, and James Siegel have all won something. Everybody should email me tonight. I still haven't gotten Rick got a shirt like 2 months ago. I still have to take care of him on that, but I promise I will get myself together and get these things taken care of this weekend. So if you won, email me, bill@comicartfans.com, and I will let you know if there's any Dueling Dealers hats remaining if you want one of those, or I'll just direct you to the TeePublic store and you can pick a shirt, or if you want something else, there's other tchotchkes that you can buy with the logos and different things on it. But sorry, Chris, it'll be your day one day.
One day. When, Lord?
When's it going to be my time?
Yep.
I love that movie. All right, let me hide this thing so nobody tries to enter again. Chris, thank you as always, my friend. We did it. We made it through the evening with wonderful sets of picks, and I appreciate you hanging out with me as always.
Happy to do it.
Good. And so I'll see you again next week, right? You don't have anything going on?
No, sir. Have a good weekend.
Fantastic. You do the same. Good night. Well, thank you for that very timely reminder, Gerder. I would have totally screwed up when I think I glanced at what you wrote and I thought I don't know what I thought when I read that, but you saved our butts on that one. But yeah, when you said to Did I miss the drawing? I'm thinking you were talking about a drawing of artwork, and then we got the. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm happy for the winners, and again, did I play the little? I don't even remember. There. If I played it earlier, I played it again. 5,000 subs, the little children with little heads probably cheering us on for getting to 5,000 subs. So hopefully, 3.5 years to get to 5,000 is not too bad. Hopefully it doesn't take 3.5 years to hit 10,000. It probably won't. But, these things kind of start snowballing. Somehow, hey, you see all the number of people who like Kayfabe's channel. So there are fans of original art collecting out there. We just haven't reached them yet. But I'm happy with where we're at. I'm happy with all you guys in the chat. Thank you for doing this, as always, with me. As you know, the next show that I've got will be at 9 o'clock on Saturday night with Jiggy and the Next Comic Art Crew. We're going to be doing a Batman Day art sale. Should be a lot of fun. Like I said, I think I saw some Von Randall pieces, and there's another piece by JP in there that's, I think, going to blow some people's minds. Just a lot of great artwork. It'll be a fun show, whether you buy art or you don't. But I hope you can tune in and hang out with us. And if you can't, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Of course, we'll be. I've got a full slate of shows all next week as well. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you again soon.